Welcome back to the Sleepy Science Channel, where tonight we're diving deep into the fascinating world of medicine, a realm where curiosity meets courage, and a dash of madness changed human history. Think of this as a time travel ticket through centuries of trial, error, and pure genius. From mystical herbs to mechanical hearts, we'll explore how humanity stitched itself back together, one wild experiment at a time. Before you get too cozy, grab your blanket, dim the lights, and maybe pour yourself a calming tea. Take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. It's always fascinating to see who's joining us from around the world, because tonight, we're blending the eerie and the awe-inspiring, from skull drills to gene editing, from mud poultices to miracle machines. Every chapter in medicine is equal parts bravery and chaos. So settle in, my fellow insomniac adventurers, it's time for science with a sleepy twist. Now, imagine flipping open history's oldest medical chart. It's not paper, it's clay. Those ancient scribbles from Mesopotamia list out herbs, prayers, and possibly a few questionable treatments involving animal parts. Still, they worked. These early healers mixed faith and observation to ease pain, heal wounds, and occasionally invent something that didn't immediately kill the patient, a miracle. Considering the tools were basically rocks and hope. But let's zoom out further away. Before scalpels and syringes, humans were already cutting, scraping, and sewing flesh like prehistoric surgeons. Archaeologists have found skulls with neat little holes, bones with clean cuts, and evidence of recovery. Someone didn't just survive, they walked away from surgery performed with sharpened stone. If that's not bravery, I don't know what is. One of the most jaw-dropping finds comes from France, a 7,000-year-old skeleton with a surgically amputated forearm that healed perfectly. No anesthesia, no antibiotics, just grit, herbs, and maybe a few prayers to whatever deity was on shift that night. Somehow, the patient not only lived, they thrived. Makes your last dentist visit seem like a luxury spa day, doesn't it? These ancient surgeons didn't just cut, they experimented. Their boldest move, trepanation. Yes, that's the polite term for drilling holes in someone's skull. Maybe it was to release evil spirits, maybe to relieve pressure, or maybe they just wanted to see what would happen. Either way, people actually survived it. That's the ancient version of don't try this at home. What's wild is how this raw, hands-on curiosity eventually evolved into structured science. The same instincts that led someone to carve open a skull in 3000 BCE now drive brain surgeons using lasers guided by AI. The tools changed, but the madness for discovery stayed exactly the same. Humanity's greatest breakthroughs often began with one reckless idea and a brave soul willing to test it. So, as your eyelids start to droop and your tea cools beside you, remember, the story of medicine is the story of human persistence. From the trembling hands of Stone Age healers to the steady pulse of robotic surgeons, we've always been obsessed with fixing what's broken, even when we barely understood how it worked. And if that's not a reason to appreciate your next headache pill, I don't know what is. Sweet dreams. Sleepy scientists, may your curiosity never sleep. Long before hospitals or anesthesia existed, early humans were already performing something that sounds straight out of a horror movie: trepanation. Picture this. Someone calmly drilling a hole into another person's skull with stone tools. And yet, it wasn't as rare as you might think. From South America to Europe to Africa, countless skulls bear the same mysterious marks, proving it was a global, independent phenomenon. Some of these ancient patients even survived. Their skulls show signs of healing, meaning they lived long after having their heads perforated like coconut shells. But why on earth would anyone volunteer for this? That's where the mystery deepens. Theories range from practical to spiritual, and honestly, all of them sound equally wild and impressive. One explanation is medical necessity. Maybe someone suffered a head injury, swelling, or unbearable pressure, and this was the ancient equivalent of emergency brain surgery. Desperate times, desperate measures. Without x-rays or scalpels, they did what they could: cut a hole and hope for the best. Somehow, it occasionally worked. Others believe the procedure was used to treat seizures or mental illnesses. Imagine a prehistoric healer diagnosing your migraines as demons stuck in the head and offering to let them out. Terrifying logic. But surprisingly, this theory persisted across centuries. It was medicine mixed with mysticism and pain tolerance that deserves an Olympic medal. Still, trepanation wasn't only about illness. Many think it carried ritual significance, an opening for the spirit, a bridge between life and the divine. Perhaps it symbolized purification, or the release of something evil lurking inside. In a world full of mystery and myth, cutting the skull might have felt like unlocking the soul itself. Fast forward to ancient Egypt, and medical creativity took another fascinating turn. Instead of cutting holes in heads, Egyptians were pressing moldy bread onto wounds. Sounds gross, right? But this accidental discovery turned out to be genius. The mold produced substances that killed bacteria centuries before penicillin would make headlines. Their medical papyri describe mixing honey, grease, and moldy bread into pastes for infected cuts. No microscopes, no scientific journals, just intuition and observation. They noticed what worked and stuck with it. Somehow, through sheer experimentation, they were already fighting infections while much of the world was still chanting prayers. It's tempting to laugh at their methods, but behind the odd ingredients lay an understanding that experience can teach what science hasn't yet explained. These ancient healers were the first researchers armed with curiosity, not degrees. Their mistakes were bloody, but their insights were revolutionary. And then there's honey, the sweet, golden miracle that never goes out of style. Long before antibiotics, honey was medicine. It soothed throats, sealed wounds, and warded off infection. It's nature's original antiseptic, wrapped in sweetness. Even today, doctors marvel at how effective it remains. Some things, it seems, humanity got right from the start. Across time, from skull drilling to moldy bread poultices, one thing remains clear. People have always fought to heal, to understand, and to survive. Their courage and creativity built the foundations of modern medicine, one risky, sticky, and occasionally skull-piercing experiment at a time. Ancient cultures had taken shine to honey, recognizing its remarkable healing properties long before we had science to back it up. Packed with enzymes, honey naturally produces hydrogen peroxide, giving it antibacterial superpowers. When slathered on wounds, it forms a protective barrier while keeping the area moist and cozy, fending off infections like a sweet shield. No wonder soldiers marched into battle with honey in tow, ready to treat their cuts and burns. Today, honey remains a superstar in medicine. Hospitals actually use sterilized medical honey for stubborn wounds. Honey didn't just stop at wound care, it's the superhero of sore throats and coughs too. Imagine a syrupy elixir that not only satisfies your sweet tooth but also swoops in to save your voice when you sound like a rusty gate. And as if that's not enough, our little friend was used to preserve medicines, making it a multitasking maven. This simple product of bees proves that throughout history, health and nature have danced hand in hand, and honey remains a timeless ally in our battle against sickness. Now, let's talk leeches, the bizarre yet fascinating critters that were once the go-to fix for nearly every ailment. Ancient doctors, in their quest for balance among the body's humus, blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile, embraced these squirmy peanut-sized healers. When someone caught a fever or even had mental health issues, doctors would summon a few leeches to the rescue, hoping to drain away what they thought was excess fluid. Imagine the trade routes of yore, bustling with merchants, hawking charming little leeches. Surprisingly, leeches had a valid reason for their historic popularity. Their saliva is packed with anticoagulants that keep blood flowing like a well-oiled machine. Who knew a tiny creature could hold such powerful properties? Fast forward to today, and leeches continue to play a role in modern medicine, especially in microsurgery. They help alleviate blood congestion in delicate areas, turning them from medieval oddities into valuable players in the surgical field. Now that's a comeback story, if I've ever seen one. And speaking of trailblazers, let's chat about Hippocrates, the original superstar of medicine, living in ancient Greece. This guy had the gall to flip the script on illness. Instead of blaming gods or malevolent spirits for someone's malaise, he argued that natural causes were the real culprits. Environmental factors, dietary choices, and lifestyle habits all played a part in the body's health, bringing a refreshing dose of rationality to medicine in the 5th and 4th centuries BCE. Talk about a paradigm shift. Thanks to Hippocrates, medicine began taking baby steps toward a more scientific realm, one where healing had roots in the physical world rather than myth. His thoughts echoed throughout history and continue to influence medical practices today. Who would have thought a doctor in ancient Greece equipped only with his trusty scales and deductive reasoning, could reshape the landscape of healing across generations. His impact rippled through the ages, inspiring countless others to take a more empirical approach to health and illness. Hippocrates was like the first ever Dr. Google, if you will accept, instead of an internet connection. He relied on observational skills and a healthy dose of skepticism. That shift from superstitions to cause and effect thinking laid the foundation for everything we now know about medicine. It's a legacy that's hard to beat. As we blend honey and leeches with the wisdom of Hippocrates, it becomes clear that the journey of medicine is as eclectic as it is enlightening. These unique treatments remind us that innovation springs from the most unexpected places. Perhaps the world isn't so black and white. Instead, it's a canvas splashed with quirks, creativity, and nature's best-kept secrets. Who knows what health revelations await us in the future? For now, we toast, with honey, of course, to the whimsical world of ancient medicine and the discoveries that continue to sweeten our lives. Hippocrates changed the game forever in the world of medicine. Imagine a time when physicians made decisions based on guesswork, but dear old Hippocrates was here to save the day, pushing for careful observation, detailed notes on symptoms, and tracking disease progression like a detective pursuing a case. His practices laid the foundation for the Hippocratic Corpus, a collection of medical texts that would influence doctors for centuries like a medical how-to guide. Now, let's talk ethics. Hippocrates was all about the moral compass of medicine, adopting the mantra that physicians should do no harm. He was the original superhero in a white coat, reminding his fellow docs that patient care should always come first. His rational approaches within evidence-based practice planted the seeds for modern-day scientific medicine. Who knew a guy from ancient Greece could set the stage for our contemporary healthcare system? And let's not forget the Hippocratic Oath. This enduring legacy of our heroes still rings bells in today's hospitals. It's been rewritten more times than some Shakespearean plays, but its essence remains. The promise of first, do no harm lives on, solidifying itself as a cornerstone of medical ethics. From ancient times when doctors pledged secrecy and knowledge sharing, to today's focus on compassion and honesty, Hippocrates had foresight that has stood the test of time. Fast forward to the Grand Roman Empire, where a certain physician named Galen burst onto the scene. Born in the 2nd century CE, this medical maverick studied in Greece and Alexandria before flexing his medical muscles as a gladiator doctor. You could say he was the original Doctor Who, hopping through history, making a name for himself in both the arena and the imperial courts. Galen was a prolific writer, diving deep into aspects of anatomy and physiology. His unique approach involved dissecting animals, leading to groundbreaking conclusions about how the human body operates. Basically, he turned animal guts into a medical goldmine. His texts became so godlike in authority that they shaped medical education for over 1,000 years, dictating what students learned and what physicians practiced. Nobody could argue with Galen's theories, at least not without facing the wrath of ridicule. His works were treated as holy scripture in the medical field, and students memorized his methods like pop music lyrics. The mere suggestion to question his findings would have many a doctor turning up their noses, thinking how could anyone possibly argue with Galen. As time marched on, though medical theories evolved, the legacies of Hippocrates and Galen continue to thrive. The importance of their contributions is like an everlasting echo in the hallways of medical schools and hospitals worldwide. From ethical guidelines to authoritative writing, both men helped, intentionally or not, to craft the very nature of medicine as we know it today. So here's to Hippocrates and Galen, the dynamic duo of ancient medicine. Their influence is still palpable, rippling through generations of physicians who stand in white coats today, ready to embrace the oath of healing and the art of patient care. Who knew a bit of ancient wisdom could steer the ship of medicine so successfully for over 2 millennia? Cheers to these legends for giving us a path filled with hypotheses, ethics, and a whole lot of heart. Galen might have been a wizard of knowledge, but boy, did his ideas miss the mark. He thought blood ebbed and flowed like a lazy river instead of circulating as we know today. Yet, his work was like a time capsule, preserving vital medical wisdom through the ages when people thought a good laugh and a good prayer were the cure for everything. You could say he laid the groundwork for future breakthroughs, often by ruffling feathers and challenging the medical authorities of his time. Now, let's dive into the medieval hospital scene. which was like stepping back into a very different world from our buzzing modern clinics. Imagine a bustling monastery where monks donned their robes and served the sick. These places weren't bustling with medical machinery, but rather offered a little slice of comfort. Patients found solace in food, prayers, and herbal remedies plucked fresh from the monastery gardens. Healing was more about the heart than high tech. In this blend of medicine and spirituality, hospitals became sacred hubs dedicated to nurturing both body and soul. While some facilities were extravagant for the time with quaint wards and organized record-keeping, others were, let's say, a bit less equipped. Think of them as hospices, serving as cozy nooks for the poor and dying. Despite their humble means, these haven-like institutions became the foundation of organized care, where the community banded together in times of sickness, a precursor to our modern healthcare networks. In a more raucous corner of history, we find ourselves on the battlefield, where early surgeons honed their craft amidst the chaos. War may be hell, but boy, was it a crash course in medicine. Surgeons faced horrific conditions, having to make split-second decisions with nothing but a strong drink as anesthesia. So here were these brave souls, wielding crude tools and performing gruesome tasks like amputating limbs and stitching up messy gashes. It was a scene straight out of a horror film, but it's where real surgical skills began to bloom. As they navigated the mayhem, these battlefield surgeons became experts in controlling bleeding, preventing shock, and treating mind-boggling injuries that no textbook ever dared to tackle. With every limb they sawed off and every wound they stitched, they contributed to medical knowledge in ways most of us today can only Google. Talk about practical experience. From the battlefield emerged life-saving techniques that would revolutionize medicine for generations to come. Off day. For ages, the health of the human body was thought to hinge on four quirky fluids, or humors: lively blood, awkward phlegm, moody black bile, and sunny yellow bile. If these fluids fell out of line, boom, illness. And what was the go-to remedy? Bloodletting. Yep, doctors believed that draining blood would bring humors to equilibrium. From ancient Greece right up to the 1800s, bloodletting became the craze that everyone, from kings to commoners, couldn't resist. Picture this: patients getting sliced with a sharp lancet or stuck with needles, while leeches were the VIPs of medical treatment, drawing blood like they were at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Fever, bloodletting, headache, sure, why not? Plague, yep, more bloodletting. Despite the butchery and its questionable effectiveness, the practice was all the rage simply because it felt like something had to be done. Back then, it seemed more logical than calling a cab to the nearest doctor. Now, let's talk about mercury, the shiny metallic superstar of the medicine cabinet. Can you even imagine a doctor whipping out mercury as a remedy? Ancient Chinese alchemists thought this dangerous liquid might lead to eternal life. Imagine the health benefits they believed they could unlock. During the Renaissance, mercury was the go-to treatment for syphilis. Slather it on or swallow those mercury-laden pills, what could possibly go wrong? While doctors were optimistic about this liquid remedy, patients faced a whole laundry list of nasty side effects that could rival a horror movie: drooling like a faucet, losing hair in handfuls, and shivering like they'd been stuck in the Arctic. Yes, some patients found their symptoms alleviated temporarily, but at what cost? The unfortunate truth was that this cure could lead to poisoning that made even the most robust health figures cringe. Back in the day, opium was the darling of ancient medicine cabinets. Think of the poppy plant as the original power source for pain relief without all those modern-day scientific mumbo-jumbo. Mesopotamia was the birthplace of opium usage over 4,000 years ago, where it was like the secret potion that everyone wanted. Egyptian doctors didn't miss the wave either, prescribing opium for everything from headaches to wounds. Who knew that such a magical substance would have such a storied history? The ancient Greeks were also falling under opium's charm, jotting down its use and recommending it to their patients like it was the latest trend. Arab scholars took the baton and ran with it, perfecting how opium was prepared and paving the way for its spreading fame. It became the go-to solution for pain cause. Let's face it, who doesn't want to relax after a hard day of chariot racing or farming? So there you have it, a rollicking ride through the bizarre medical practices that reflect humanity's valiant attempts to tackle illness. Between bloodletting, mercury, and opium, our ancestors sure had some entertaining ideas about health and wellness. They were trailblazers navigating a world where the line between poison and medicine was as thin as a needle's prick or as hazy as a physician's judgment. Talk about a history lesson that's downright wild. By the time we hit the Middle Ages, opium was strutting around like the celebrity of the medicine cabinet. This magical plant had become a prized remedy, though its addictive kick was recognized, if not fully understood. Fast forward to the 19th century, and you could pick up opium-laced laudanum at your local pharmacy. It claimed to treat just about everything from a stubborn cough to the monthly visitor that ladies love to complain about. Dangerous, definitely, but it also unlocked the door to the magical realm of plant chemistry for physicians. Opium's dual reputation as both a blessing and a curse was a real roller coaster ride. Amidst the high fives for its healing properties, there was a lurking acknowledgement of its darker side. If you thought that was a wild ride, hold on tight. Let's shift gears to quinine, the true rock star of medicine. Extracted from the bark of the cinchona tree, quinine swooped in like a superhero to combat malaria, a disease that had been throwing shade on humanity for centuries, with the potential to decimate armies and ruin lives. It was high time someone put a stop to its shenanigans. Enter the indigenous peoples of South America, who had been using the cinchona bark to battle fevers long before it made its grand debut on the global stage. Jesuit missionaries, being the nosy observers they were, caught wind of this miraculous remedy in the 17th century. And just like that, quinine's fame spread quicker than gossip in a village pub. Soon enough, it became the MVP for European explorers and soldiers navigating the malaria-infested tropics, leading to a rather cheeky cocktail. Tradition, tonic water, and gin the original party starter. Quinine wasn't just a random local remedy, oh no, it sparked the scientific study of plant-derived medicines, paving the way for synthetic anti-malarial drugs to hit the scene. Its epic journey from a humble bark to becoming a lifesaver is a testament to how local wisdom and keen observation can spark monumental changes. It saved countless lives and remains a vital part of the battle against malaria, which, despite its ongoing charades, still challenges humanity today. Now, if you thought smallpox was just another farm animal, think again. This nasty virus stalked the land, leaving devastation in its wake. It was like the ultimate villain in the disease world. But the tables turned in the 18th century thanks to Edward Jenner, an English physician with a knack for observation. What spurred his eureka moment? He noticed that milkmaids brushed with cowpox seemed to strut through life unscathed by smallpox. In 1796, Jenner took a leap of faith that could have landed him in hot water. He inoculated a lad with cowpox gunk and then played a game of what if by exposing him to smallpox. Result: the boy emerged victorious, healthy, and probably feeling like a champ. This jaw-dropping experiment marked the birth of vaccination, a nod to the Latin word vac, meaning cow, because let's face it, cows were the unsung heroes of this medieval medical miracle. And just like that, the landscape of disease prevention changed forever. Smallpox lost its reign of terror, thanks to the courageous spirit of a man who thought outside the box, or should we say, outside the barn. History shows us that the dance between local knowledge and modern science can be a powerful force. Who knew that cowpox could play such a critical role in reshaping the human experience? So here's to the curious minds, the brave explorers, and those cheeky milkmaids who unwittingly contributed to one of medicine's greatest victories. Their collective efforts brought the so-called miracle cures into the light, reminding us that sometimes, the best solutions come from the most unexpected places. Jenner's revolutionary method, initially met with skepticism, soon became the talk of the town across Europe, Asia, and the Americas. It turned out that exposing people to a milder form of a disease could create a protective barrier against the deadly version. Can you believe this? Smallpox was the first to hit the road to eradication, officially being declared fully dispatched in 1980. It stands tall as a testament to human ingenuity in medicine. Edward Jenner, often hailed as the father of vaccination, embarked on an adventure using cowpox to forge immunity against smallpox. Now, this was no ordinary experiment. During a time when people thought bad air or a vengeful deity were responsible for diseases, Jenner had a hunch. He noticed that dairy workers were catching cowpox, a relatively mild malady, but seemed to dodge the deadly smallpox bullet. Genius, right? To test his hypothesis, Jenner took a riskier turn. He scraped some goo from the blisters of a milkmaid and jabbed it into the arm of a little lad named James Phipps. After a few weeks of suspenseful waiting, when faced with smallpox, the boy showed zero symptoms. Let's just say this unconventional move would today have health enthusiasts clutching pearls. But back then, it was groundbreaking. Jenner didn't stop there. He meticulously documented every part of his experiment, convincing skeptics to take a leap of faith. Slowly, the clouds of doubt started to clear, and the world began to see the light. Immunity wasn't just a shot in the dark, it could be systematically induced. While his work didn't magically wipe out smallpox at once, it illuminated a path for modern immunology. The idea of vaccination took off like a rocket. Picture this, it was the early 19th century, and doctors were going village hopping, taking Jenner's revolutionary technique along for the ride. To make it even more adventurous, they transported cowpox material embedded in the arms of freshly inoculated children. That's some grassroots healthcare right there. Spain leaned into the vaccination craze, sending a wild expedition with 22 orphaned boys, acting as living vaccine carriers, to the furthest reaches of the empire across the Americas and Asia. Imagine these kids, armed with cowpox and an unshakable mission to share health. By the mid-19th century, many nations made vaccination a thing officially, and the numbers of smallpox deaths took a nosedive. What's mind-blowing is just how quickly this miraculous medical idea birthed in rural England turned into a global movement. All this when planes and refrigerators were just a sparkle in the imagination's eye. Yet, vaccine awareness rocketed ahead thanks to the urgency instilled by smallpox that had haunted humanity for centuries. So, cheers to Edward Jenner. This man transformed fear into hope and left behind one of the mightiest weapons in the medical world, vaccination. The simple idea of injecting a little cowpox to stave off smallpox not only saved countless lives, but also proved that with a sprinkle of courage and scientific inquiry, humanity could turn the tides against even the most formidable foes. At last, communities got their act together, rallying around vaccinations, creating a public health revolution that's still saving lives today. Who would have thought that the power of a tiny needle could do so much? But the real game changer in the 19th century was the arrival of anesthetics, turning surgeries from spine-chilling horror shows into manageable experiences. Imagine being held down while a surgeon hastily sliced away. Yikes. Talk about a nightmare. Enter the miracle substances that changed everything, ether and chloroform. Before their introduction, patients were guinea pigs in a bloody circus, with surgeons racing against the clock. Pain was the name of the game and survival felt like winning a lottery nobody wanted to enter. But suddenly, with anesthesia, those days were behind us. Surgeons could finally slow down, focus, and operate without creating a horror movie on the operating table. And, oh boy, did it make a difference. Complex surgeries that would send people running for the hills were suddenly on the table literally. From brain operations to fixing abdomen issues, all became feasible. Public demos turned anesthesia into an entertainment spectacle, where onlookers watched with bated breath, realizing that the landscape of medicine was shifting, surrounded by all those skeptical physicians. The excitement was palpable as they witnessed history unfold before their eyes. Now, let's talk about the first superstar anesthetic, ether. In October 1846, the Ether Dome in Boston was, frankly, the hottest ticket in town. Dentist William Morton gave the performance of a lifetime, administering ether to a patient like a magician pulling a rabbit from a hat. As the surgeon wielded his scalpel, the patient lay there calm and chill, which left the crowd in awe, those skeptical doctors. They went from doubters to believers in mere moments, as ether began its meteoric rise to fame. However, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Despite its immediate success, ether had its quirks: flammable, stinky, and not always the safest choice. But hey, when the alternative was excruciating pain, many were willing to overlook a few flaws. This watershed moment signified that doctors could finally operate effectively without turning their patients into human pincushions of pain, paving the way for modern medicine as we know it. The Ether Dome today, a cherished landmark, showcasing that first glorious breakthrough in surgical care. It's a monument to the moment surgery actually began to evolve rather than default to sheer dread. That place deserves a medal for ushering in a new era, one where patients could approach surgeries with at least a semblance of hope instead of sheer terror. Not long after ether stole the spotlight, chloroform made its grand entrance, ready to challenge the reigning champion. With its reputation as a smoother alternative, chloroform put on quite the show, quickly attracting the attention of eager surgeons. The thrilling competition between these two substances added an extra layer of excitement to operating rooms everywhere. Who would have thought that the choice of anesthetic could inject such a dose of drama into the world of medicine? In the 1830s, a revolutionary compound popped onto the scene, and by the 1840s, it was being hailed as a game-changer in surgery. Hello, chloroform. Physicians gushed over its delightful aroma and swift effects. It became the talk of the town when Queen Victoria opted for chloroform during the births of 2 of her kiddos. Talk about a royal thumbs up for the concept of pain-free childbirth. Suddenly, everyone and their grandma wanted to be part of this anesthesia revolution. Every doctor from Paris to New York was eager to embrace chloroform, despite its cheeky little side effect, sudden cardiac arrest. Even in perfectly healthy folk, it was like playing a high-stakes game of medical roulette. But, come on, who could resist the allure of painless surgery? A heated debate raged on about which anesthetic reigned supreme, with countries drawing lines in the sand. Eventually, the consensus led to newer, safer options stepping into the spotlight. But chloroform's legendary status in the history of anesthesia was forever cemented. Moving forward to 1928, the medical world was on the brink of another discovery that would change lives. Alexander Fleming turned the mundane task of lab work into a scene right out of a comedy when he returned from vacation to find his petri dish was not itself anymore. It had a moldy guest. This uninvited fungus, later recognized as Penicillium notatum, crackled a little miracle. A clear zone where the Staphylococcus bacteria had thrown in the towel. Oh, the serendipity. Initially, Fleming couldn't get anyone to care about his miraculous mold juice. Fast forward to World War II, and just like in the best underdog films, his overlooked discovery gained momentum. Researchers rallied together and cranked out methods to mass-produce penicillin. Bam! It skyrocketed to fame as the miracle drug, rescuing soldiers from infections that once sent shivers down their spines or worse, to an untimely fate. Just imagine a world where minor scrapes could turn lethal. That was reality before antibiotics crashed the party. The tiniest wound could morph into a raging infection, making a simple trip to the dentist an anxiety-provoking venture. Enter penicillin and its antibiotic buddies, ready to cancel the Grim Reaper's RSVP. This transformative drug gave humanity a whole new lease on life and, let's be honest, a reason to celebrate. Penicillin didn't just save lives, it rewrote the rules of medicine. Surgeons could operate with newfound confidence, knowing they had a trusty sidekick that could thwart infections. The winds of change were blowing, and medicine had never looked so bright. Everyone from scientists to the average Joe began to understand the power of these drugs that had emerged from quirky lab accidents and moldy petri dishes. The journey of penicillin from chance discovery to pharmaceutical superstar serves as a delightful reminder that sometimes, groundbreaking discoveries come from unexpected moments. It shakes up the notion that we always know what we're looking for. Often, the best finds are just hanging out in the corners of our lives, waiting for the right moment to shine. Antibiotics emerged as the great liberators of human health, transforming wound care, surgeries, and everyday life into something remarkably safer and lighter. So, let's toast to the misfits like chloroform and penicillin who reshaped the medical world, proving that through risks and delightful accidents, amazing things can happen. The story of these drugs is as much about triumph as it is about the whimsy of discovery. Who knew that some of our greatest allies in the battle against suffering would come in the guise of the unexpected, as history shows. The hunt for relief often leads to delightful surprises. Picture this, a world where pneumonia, tuberculosis, and sepsis were once viewed as death sentences, morbid companions shrouding families in grief. Suddenly, enters the miracle of antibiotics, like superheroes swinging through the skies of modern medicine. Mortality rates took a nosedive, as surgeries transformed from terrifying risk fests to safer undertakings. Who knew that good old penicillin would lead to a dining table full of laughter, rather than a somber reminder of lives lost to illness? But hold on to your stethoscopes, because the impact of antibiotics didn't just stop there. They paved the way for groundbreaking procedures like organ transplants and cancer chemotherapy, making it possible for everyone to strut into those hospital doors with a fighting chance. With infections kept at bay, entire generations bounced into the world, free from the shackles of diseases that once ravaged communities. Our ancestors were rolling their eyes from beyond, wondering how they managed to survive without such medical marvels. Yet, with all triumphs come troubles. The saga of antibiotics holds a bittersweet note as those pesky microbes started changing the rules of the game. Bacteria are evolving a little like sneaky ninjas, slipping through our defenses after every dose of antibiotics. As they multiply unchecked, some of them develop superpowers, defying every attempt to bring them down. Yes, you heard that right, superbugs are among us, flourishing in hospitals and laughing in the face of our medicine cabinets. Imagine doctors facing infections they once shrugged off as routine. Tuberculosis, gonorrhea, and staphylococcus are back with a vengeance, feeling invincible against standard treatments like those high school bullies who dodged detention. The World Health Organization has raised the alarms, foreseeing a not-so-sunny future where ordinary surgeries, childbirth, and even a simple band-aid could carry unexpected, mortal risks. Talk about a shocking plot twist in our antibiotic saga. So, what's the response to this microbial menace? Researchers are racing against time, cooking up new drugs and exploring fancy alternatives like bacteriophage therapy. They're plunging headfirst into the fray, determined to outsmart the crafty germs. But can bravery and brilliant minds outpace bacterial evolution? It's an uphill battle where every ounce of ingenuity will be put to the test. At the heart of this unfolding drama is our very own microbiome, an astonishing ecosystem thriving within and on each of us. Picture trillions of funky bacteria, fungi, and viruses, throwing a gastroparty inside your gut. Far from just the villains in our story, these microorganisms are unsung heroes, crucial for our well-being. They help us digest our lunch, crank out vitamins, and whip our immune system into shape like the best personal trainers around. What's more fascinating is that every person boasts a one-of-a-kind microbiome, influenced by diet, environment, genetics, and even how they entered the world. Yep, whether you made a grand entrance through the birth canal or took the scenic route via C-section, it all matters. And while these microbes are generally partying hard in the background, the tension between good and bad bacteria remains a gripping part of our medical narrative. So there it is, the thrilling, tumultuous tale of antibiotics and their nemesis, a roller coaster ride of triumph and tension. It reminds us that while we may win battles over microbial foes, the war is far from over. Our journey through science continues, where human ingenuity faces off against the clever adaptability of these tiny creatures, ensuring that our story is one of persistent innovation, learning, and resilient health. Scientists are diving deep into the world of microbiomes, uncovering that these tiny organisms might be behind everything from obesity to allergies, and even mental health issues. Imagine our gut as a bustling metropolis packed with microbial citizens, working hard to maintain harmony. Fecal transplant therapies, probiotics, and special diets are now under the spotlight as potential cures for these imbalances. The big revelation: our health isn't just about our own cells, but about our microbial buddies playing their part in our well-being. Among the more eyebrow-raising treatments to waltz onto the medical stage is the fecal transplant. Yes, you heard right. For folks plagued by a nasty gut infection called Clostridium difficile, traditional antibiotics often wave the white flag. However, doctors discovered that shoving a healthy donor's stool into the sick patient's intestines could actually restore order in the gut ecosystem. This brave new world of medicine boasts some remarkable success stories. Many patients transform from years of illness to a healthier, happier existence. While the mental picture of fecal transplants may induce a giggle or grimace, it sheds light on an essential truth in healthcare. The avenue to recovery often lies not in obliterating the pesky microbes, but rather embracing their presence. By restoring the gut's microbial balance, we're discovering that our health is more like an intricate tapestry than a solitary thread. The treatment underscores how medicine is increasingly about harmonizing with nature rather than battling against it. Zooming back in time, we find ourselves in the early 20th century, where the discovery of insulin turned the tides for diabetes patients. Before this game-changing breakthrough, a diagnosis of type 1 diabetes was like a life sentence, especially for children. The poor little ones had only months or years to live, struggling with their diets and withering away. Enter Canadian heroes Frederick Banting and Charles Best, who bravely isolated insulin from the pancreas in 1921, and everything changed. These scientific gents decided to take their newfound wonder drug for a spin on diabetic dogs. They injected insulin, And, lo and behold, symptoms receded like magic. It was like flipping a switch on a dimmer. Suddenly, canines were sprightly and full of life again. The success of insulin in human trials followed closely behind, transforming lives. Emaciated faces began to glow, strength returned. And it felt like watching a superhero story unfold right before our eyes. The magic of insulin didn't just save lives, it revolutionized how we think about hormones, opening doors for endocrinology like a cinematic cliffhanger. This little hormone that once seemed elusive became a beacon of hope for those battling diabetes. The leap from a death sentence to a manageable condition, pure gold, families rejoiced. Once flickering lives sparkled anew, a testament to the marvels of science. Now, with both the fascination of the microbiome and the life-saving prowess of insulin, we are reminded that health is a dance between our bodies and the complex ecosystems within. It underscores the intricate relationship we share with our microbes and hormones. What's more, these discoveries exemplify how minds are continuously exploring, creating harmony within, and making leaps toward breakthroughs that could unlock the secrets to our health challenges. The road to health is increasingly less about punishing the body and more about partnering with it. Science is the dance partner guiding us through this intricate tango of microbes and hormones, bringing laughter and relief in moments of despair. So, let's embrace this wild ride toward understanding our bodies better, one glorious discovery at a time. And who knows, the next quirky medical marvel might just be around the corner, waiting to dazzle us once again. The Nobel Prize came and went in a flash, but what truly counted was the life-saving impact on millions of people. Insulin emerged as a groundbreaking marvel in modern medicine, shifting the paradigm for diabetes care forever. It all started with animal-derived insulin, primarily extracted from the pancreases of cows and pigs. Factories were churning out thousands of these organs to provide enough insulin for thousands of patients, which was no small feat. The catch, while this process was a lifesaver, it was akin to a game of medical roulette. Patients often faced allergic reactions or found themselves on a roller coaster of adjustments due to batch variations. Yet, for many, it was a miracle. For the first time ever, individuals living with diabetes could enjoy lives that resembled normal. This animal-derived insulin held the fort for decades, while medical science drummed up fresh solutions from the lab. Now, let's discuss the enterprising spirit of our ancestors. The extraction from animal organs serves as a historical testament to human ingenuity and the lengths society would go to preserve life. They managed to turn a once terminal condition into something manageable, one painstaking batch at a time. It highlights how far we've come, thank goodness for those scientists who rolled up their sleeves to tackle diabetes with unmatched determination. Then came a breakthrough in the 1980s that would change the diabetic landscape forever: synthetic insulin. Biotechnology entered the ring and made what seemed far-fetched a reality. By using recombinant DNA tech, scientists created a way to insert the human insulin gene into bacteria. These bacteria became little hormone factories, cranking out the necessary insulin like it was the hottest new trend. The best part, this synthetic insulin was chemically identical to what your pancreas would normally produce. Say goodbye to the roller coaster of the animal-derived version. Out went the frequent adjustments and unexpected reactions, making diabetes management a lot less nerve-wracking for those in need. Personalizing treatment became the name of the game, letting healthcare providers tailor solutions to fit the individual needs of each patient. And let's not forget the ripple effects this had all around the globe. Millions rejoiced as they gained access to safer and more dependable insulin therapies. This was a game changer, not just for diabetes but also a remarkable victory in the field of genetic engineering. Life's code could be rewritten to forge vital treatments, proving that good old science could indeed flex its muscles. The revolution in insulin production turned it from an elusive, imperfect resource into a consistent lifeline for diabetes care. It became a reliable source that now saves countless lives daily. Impressive, right? As we sit here pondering the journey of insulin, it's clear we have traveled from humble beginnings to a robust solution that embodies modern medicine's triumphs. Now, let's shift gears for a moment and consider another medical marvel: the X-ray. Oh, the joy of looking inside a body without ever having to pick up a scalpel. Imagine the excitement for doctors who could finally see what lay beneath the skin, a totally radical advancement that complemented the burgeoning world of diabetes treatment. This combination of ingenuity and technology set the stage for a new era in patient care and treatment options. In the bustling year of 1895, German physicist Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen stumbled upon a jaw-dropping revelation while tinkering with cathode rays. Imagine his surprise when he discovered a brand new type of radiation that could effortlessly pierce through solid objects. The icing on the cake, he decided to test this mysterious phenomenon by placing his wife's hand in front of a photographic plate. Voila! The image glaring back revealed her bones and a shiny wedding ring, marking the birth of the very first X-ray. Before long, the world was buzzing with the advent of X-ray machines popping up in hospitals across the globe. Toddler, doctors were suddenly granted the ability to gaze inside living patients without ever needing to wield a scalpel. This technological miracle opened pathways to discovering fractures, pesky swallowed objects, and lurking lung problems. What a game changer. Diagnosis had transformed from mere guesswork to a stylish preview of invisible illnesses laid bare for all to see. Now, as glorious as this new technology might have been, early adopters weren't quite adept at keeping safety in mind. They often found themselves exposed to dangerously high levels of radiation, almost like playing with a glowing ball of doom. Yet, despite the risks, the demand for X-rays skyrocketed. Broken bones to cancer screenings became the new norm, forever changing the glamorous practice of diagnosis. If only the doctors knew that their curious peeks inside the human body would spark such a revolution. Enter Marie Curie, the phenomenal scientist who made waves in the fields of radiology. Alongside her genius husband, Pierre, she isolated radioactive elements like radium and polonium, introducing the world to newfound sources of super-penetrating energy. Marie dreamt of harnessing this power to obliterate tumors in the name of medical advancement. Little did they know, their discoveries would play a crucial role in the development of radiation therapy and techniques still used today. During the chaos of World War I, Marie's brilliance shone like a beacon of hope. She passionately advocated for the creation of mobile X-ray units, affectionately dubbed Little Curies. These heroic machines were dispatched to battlefields to aid surgeons in locating shattered bones and pesky bullets. Thousands of wounded soldiers were grateful for her foresight, as her innovation provided essential care when they needed it most. Truly a superhero in a lab coat. But as with all great tales, there was a tragic twist for Marie Curie. Her steadfast dedication to research led her to be exposed to harmful levels of radiation long before anyone dared to fully comprehend the risks involved. A heartbreaking irony, given her groundbreaking contributions to science. Still, her legacy remains undiminished, forever intertwined with a blend of physics, chemistry, and medicine that reshaped diagnosis and treatment methods for generations to come. While X-rays provided a glimpse into hidden structures, the evolution of imaging reached new heights with the invention of CT scans in the dazzling 1970s. Picture a futuristic donut-shaped machine rotating around your body while collecting numerous X-ray slices from multiple angles. Hold on to your hats, thanks to the wizardry of advanced computers. These slices were then pieced together to produce strikingly detailed 3D images. Diagnosis had traded its vintage look for a cutting-edge makeover. With each technological leap, from X-rays to CT scans, we witnessed the intertwining of science and medicine flourishing and evolving. The ability to visualize inside the human body has transformed patient care, making formerly insidious issues a little more transparent. All these innovations remind us that curiosity and determination can lead to groundbreaking discoveries, lighting the way for the future of medicine in ways we can only imagine. For the first time in the history of human anatomy, doctors could peer inside the human body like never before without even needing a scalpel. CT scans have emerged as superheroes of the medical world, swooping in to save lives by enabling quick detection of strokes, cancers, and even those pesky internal injuries. You see, this high-tech imaging can spot subtle differences in tissue density that regular X-rays just can't pick up. Basically, it's like having X-ray vision but with a side of reality. Sure, these miraculous machines zap your body with more radiation than a typical X-ray. But hey, when seconds count during an emergency, the benefits really do outweigh the risks. Just imagine the CT scanner as the latest in diagnostic gadgets that allows doctors to peel back layers of the body like it's some high-stakes onion slicing contest. With this technology, Physicians have a front row seat to the inner workings of our most vital organs, all without any need for stitches or scars. Then came magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI for those in the know, a magical twist in a world already bursting with medical marvels. Instead of the radiation route, MRIs wield the power of magnetism. Picture this: powerful magnetic fields combining with radio waves to wiggle some hydrogen atoms in your body. When these atoms get a little too frisky, they release signals that are transformed into mind-blowingly detailed images of soft tissues. Talk about a sci-fi movie come to life. Unlike CT scans, which focus primarily on those bony structures, MRIs excel at unveiling the subtleties of cartilage, ligaments, and those complex neural pathways. Doctors' new besties. MRIs are like the Swiss Army knife of diagnostics, especially when it comes to brain tumors or spinal injuries. And let's be honest, lying inside that humming machine feels straight out of a futuristic flick. You're basically an action hero, with invisible forces charting your inner realm. Let's not forget about ultrasound, the cool kid on the block that uses sound waves instead of radiation or magnets. Ultrasound may seem straightforward, but it's a sneaky genius. It sends high-frequency sound waves zipping through your body and captures the echoes. Doctors can then create real-time images, which is especially heartwarming for expectant parents getting a glimpse of their tiny bundle of joy. Watching those little hearts thump away and fingers curl before birth is enough to make anyone's heart flutter. But ultrasound doesn't stop at being the go-to device for baby pics. Doctors are like master chefs with their ultrasound machines, using them to study blood flow, find gallstones, guide biopsies, and even deliver targeted therapies. This nifty technology is key to both diagnosis and treatment, turning complex procedures into a symphony of echoes and visuals, and keeping patients informed and engaged throughout. In a world where medical technology is evolving faster than the speed of light, these imaging methods are true game changers. Picture a hospital where a hippo of a patient is scanned with a CT, MRI, and ultrasound all in one day, each delivering crucial insights. It's like having a medical toolbox full of wonders at a doctor's fingertips, with each tool catering to unique needs and offering diverse advantages. So here's to the magical world of medical imaging, where we can explore the hidden architecture of life contained in our chests and bellies without so much as a scratch. With every scan, we inch closer to understanding the complexities of the human body, uncovering secrets like professional detectives hunting for clues, each image a step toward better health and understanding. Who knew that the inside of our bodies could be so fantastically fascinating? Ultrasound is like the superhero of the medical imaging world. No radiation, no worries. This nifty technology is so portable that it can make a grand entrance in rural clinics and even fits snugly in ambulances. Imagine doctors racing against time, armed with ultrasound devices, ready to make instant diagnoses that can actually save lives. Sure, the images might be a bit grainy when you compare them to an MRI, but let's be real, speed, safety, and versatility are what make ultrasound a must-have tool in medicine today. It really is impressive how sound waves can transform into a glimpse beneath the skin, turning echoes into medical revelations. Speaking of timeless medical tools, the stethoscope deserves a quirky shout-out. Picture this. It was 1816 when French physician René Laennec felt a tad awkward listening to patients by pressing his ear to their chest. In a brilliant moment of modesty and ingenuity, he rolled up some paper into a tube and accidentally created the first stethoscope. Fast forward a bit, and voila, the stethoscope morphed into the Y-shaped icon we all recognize today, amplifying everything from heart murmurs to those pesky crackles that hint at hidden ailments. Isn't it fascinating how this simple yet powerful device has facilitated the diagnosis of conditions like pneumonia and heart valve problems? Even in today's tech-centric world, where flashy imaging reigns, the stethoscope remains essential. It's portable, easy to use, and fosters a personal connection between doctors and patients. Just think about it. Every time a doctor leans in with their stethoscope, they participate in a rich tradition that began with one man's curiosity and a rolled-up piece of paper. Now, let's turn our attention to the thermometer, a game-changer in fever diagnosis. Picture a time where doctors merely tossed a hand onto a patient's forehead and made their judgment call. It was like playing a guessing game, and two different doctors might have completely different opinions on the same fever. Then, the thermometer came around to save the day, By the 17th century, the early versions were clunky glass tubes, but they were a leap forward nonetheless. Come the 19th century, these devices got a makeover: smaller, faster, and practically best friends with hospital staff everywhere. For the first time, doctors were able to track fevers in precise degrees, creating a roadmap of symptoms that could show infection patterns over time. It was a scientific revolution that turned guesswork into solid data, which meant treatment could now be more effective than ever. Eventually, thermometers became staples in households, empowering families to monitor fevers independently. Suddenly, even the family pet could have its temperature checked. Fast forward to modern times, and behold the digital thermometer, offering readings in a flash. But even as technology advanced, the essence remained the same, transforming the fuzzy sensation of touch into clear and precise data, so we can say goodbye to guesswork. Together, both ultrasound and the stethoscope, along with the trusty thermometer, redefine the path of medicine and diagnosis. They have each played pivotal roles in medical history, ensuring that the healing arts grew with precision, speed, and a dash of humor. The next time you visit the doctor, just remember the fascinating stories behind the tools they use. And maybe give a little nod to the rolled-up papers and curiously ingenious minds that started it all. Standardizing fever with thermometers was nothing short of revolutionary. Picture this. Doctors historically relied on vague words to describe illnesses. Having a bad fever didn't tell much, did it? Enter the thermometer, a wizard that transformed vague feverish claims into clear-cut numerical data. With a quick glance at the thermometer, physicians could pinpoint the problem better than before. It was like adding a fresh language to medicine that everyone understood, and the knowledge flowed like a finely brewed tea. Then came the blood pressure measurement, a game changer in the world of cardiology. Sure, doctors had been feeling those pulses for ages, but when the Sigma manometer strutted onto the scene in the late 19th century, everything changed. Suddenly, utilizing an inflatable cuff, a clumsy column of mercury, and a stethoscope, physicians had the superpower to measure blood pressure directly. Knowing how hard your heart was pumping became a major revelation. Hypertension lurked as a sneaky risk factor for heart disease that could strike when you least expected it. Imagine cruising through life feeling like $1,000,000 only to discover those high blood pressure numbers were creeping up like ninjas in your arteries. Thanks to this invention, preventative medicine took a shining turn. Doctors began tracking patients' blood pressure as if it were the latest trending social media topic, guiding lifestyle changes and treatments that saved millions of lives. Nowadays, automatic digital cuffs are as common in homes as kitchen gadgets, but the science behind every beat remains timeless. Fast forward to 1967, and hold on to your hats because the first heart transplant was about to shock the globe. In Cape Town, South Africa, surgeon Christian Barnard stepped up to the plate and knocked the surgical procedure out of the park. Renowned as the medical Houdini, he successfully removed a failing heart and replaced it with a healthy donor heart. Louis Kins lived for 18 gloriously brief days before a pesky pneumonia got the best of him. But that wasn't the point. Barnard's success electrified the world and set the stage for a miraculous future. Imagine the whispers in the hospital corridors. Could you really just swap out hearts? Yes, indeed. Barnard became an overnight global sensation, and soon transplant programs blossomed like wildflowers in spring. Early on, it wasn't all sunshine and glitter, as resistant immune systems often rejected those fabulous foreign hearts. Survival rates were a tad shaky, but medical advancements and oh-so-snazzy new drugs changed the game, transforming heart transplants into life-saving miracles for thousands. What once seemed like a plot twist straight out of a sci-fi novel became a regular Sunday brunch conversation topic. Major hospitals turned heart transplant surgeries into bread and butter affairs, showcasing the brave surgeons willing to throw caution to the wind and patients scout for hope. The first transplant stands as a glowing symbol of human determination and the unyielding hope that keeps patients and doctors alike looking toward the horizon of medical progress that continues to illuminate their paths. Speaking of keeping hearts on track, let's chat about pacemakers. Those tiny devices keep the hearts of millions happily thumping along. You see, sometimes the human heart just can't keep the beat quite right. It may even slow down or get irregular, leaving anyone in trouble. Pacemakers swoop in like charming superheroes to save the day. They regulate heart rhythm with a mix of gentle nudges and electronic whispers, ensuring that those heartstrings stay tied and pumping smoothly while patients get to live life to the fullest. In the mid-20th century, engineers turned their attention to the heroic task of keeping hearts beating in rhythm. Enter the pacemaker, a device that buzzed onto the scene, simply putting the heart on a strict electrical training regime. The early versions were about as subtle as a drum kit at a quiet cafe, bulky and tethered to external batteries. However, by the swinging 60s, designers managed to shrink these heart-monitoring marvels to implantable sizes that snugly fit beneath the skin. Who knew that tiny technology could save lives? These compact gadgets are true silent sidekicks, monitoring heartbeats and delivering gentle electric nudges when things get out of whack. Modern pacemakers are downright impressive, with programmable features that adjust to your hustle and bustle. They can even sense when you're breaking a sweat and speed up accordingly. Imagine having an invisible cheerleader inside your chest, supporting you through your afternoon jog or after that third slice of pizza. Millions owe their beat to these ingenious devices that fuse biology with cutting-edge tech. But hold on, if a heart just won't cooperate, pacemakers may not be enough. When both ventricles back out on you, the stakes are raised. Inspired by this perennial dilemma, researchers embarked on the quest of an artificial heart. Flashback to 1982, when surgeon Barney Clark became the first human to receive the mechanical heart called the Jarvik 7. Though it may sound like a sci-fi thriller, Clark only lasted 112 days. Yet, his pioneering journey proved that a machine heart could indeed take over. Think of it as the ultimate life hack. Since then, tech has only gotten better, providing temporary mechanical hearts to keep patients alive while waiting for a matched transplant. Picture it. These devices act as a life raft on your journey to a new organ. Yet, designing a fully artificial heart continues to be a medical Rubik's Cube, replete with a slew of challenges and complications. But the dream doesn't die here. Progress presses on, raising eyebrows and hopes for a world where we might fully replicate our body's most essential organ. Then, let's not forget about kidneys. When they take an unscheduled vacation, things can get pretty grim. Toxins start partying in the blood, and it feels like the clock is ticking for survival. That's where dialysis machines come into play, a true lifesaver in the 1940s. Meet Dutch Dr. Willem Kolff, who ingeniously gifted the world its first dialysis machine, cobbled together with sausage casings and a washing machine drum. Think of it as the ultimate DIY project that inadvertently turned into a life-preserving device. This makeshift machine elegantly filters out waste, mimicking kidney functions so effectively that it could put Oscar-worthy movie magic to shame. It was an early when life gives you lemons situation, and Kolff's innovation sparked the revolution needed to save countless lives. Dialysis may not have the flashy appeal of a robot heart, but in its own right, it is a silent hero, giving people a second chance at life without the need for a full organ transplant. Technology continues to weave itself into the fabric of our health, reminding us that medicine can be both art and science. We teeter on the exciting edge of engineering, where human needs meet gallant ingenuity. Each tick and pulse delivered by these machines carries tales of resilience and renewal, sparking conversations about life, death, and the ever-humorous quirks of human anatomy. As we navigate this wild intersection of biology and technology, we can't help but scratch our heads and wonder, where do we go next? Dialysis has come a long way from its humble beginnings. What used to be a dire prognosis for kidney failure victims is now a routine procedure. These modern machines are marvels of technology, expertly designed with semi-permeable membranes and precision pumps, ensuring blood is cleaned multiple times weekly. While it demands commitment, dialysis transforms kidney failure into a manageable condition, giving patients a new lease on life. The gentle hum of these machines is a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. The innovation of dialysis laid the groundwork for the remarkable world of kidney transplantation. Patients can now choose between mechanical support and biological solutions. It's like picking between a trusty old car or the shiny new one. The choice empowers individuals, allowing them to live active lives while managing their health challenges. Each machine hum reinforces the idea that, even in tough circumstances, there's always hope and fresh opportunities for a longer life. Jumping from kidneys to ears, the world of cochlear implants is nothing short of magical. For those born profoundly deaf or who lose their hearing later, these implants open up a whole new auditory universe. Unlike traditional hearing aids that just amplify sound, cochlear implants take a nifty shortcut. Bypassing damaged ear parts, they ingeniously involve a microphone to pick up sound, which is then transformed into electrical signals that stimulate the auditory nerve, making it seem like music to their ears. Cochlear implants have sparked debates, especially within the deaf community, creating a whirlwind of discussions about culture and identity. But regardless of the controversies, for many users, these implants offer access to a world of spoken language and music previously confined to silence. Children especially flourish. Learning to speak and fitting seamlessly into hearing schools, a veritable symphony of opportunity for these young learners to discover their voices. And for the adults, they're rediscovering sounds they thought were lost forever: voices, laughter, and the gentle rustle of leaves on a breezy day. Although cochlear implants may not restore hearing to its pristine glory, they perfectly illustrate the intersection of technology and biology, bestowing upon users the incredible experience of sound where there once was only quiet. Vibrations become perception. Electricity morphs into the delightful gift of music and conversation. Now, let's shift gears to an equally thrilling development: bionic eyes. For centuries, the idea of reversing blindness seemed like something out of a sci-fi novel. But thanks to the bold researchers of recent decades, bionic eyes are becoming a reality. These impressive prosthetics capture images using a camera mounted on glasses and transform them into electrical signals, next-level magic for the visually impaired. While the early systems provide a rather basic glimpse of the world, think outlines and lights, they still offer a monumental change for those who've lived in darkness. Picture a person recognizing the doorways and sidewalks they had no idea were there. For them, it's not just about sight. It opens the door to reconnecting with loved ones and rediscovering the vibrant world around them, stirring a renaissance of life that once seemed impossible. So here we are, caught in a whirlwind of innovation, a dance of creativity, medicine, and technology. From the life-saving dialysis machines to the auditory wonders of cochlear implants and the promise of bionic vision, humanity continues to push the boundaries of what's possible. These advancements not only showcase the marvels of modern science, but also remind us of the spirit of perseverance fueling the quest for a better, fuller life. One beep or buzz at a time. In a fascinating twist of fate, microelectronics and neural engineering have joined forces to awaken our senses long thought lost. Enter the bionic eye, a dazzling creation that straddles the blurry line between human and machine. Imagine a world where blindness, like deafness before it, fades into the background. With tenacious ambition, medicine and technology are crafting visions of hope for those yearning to see the world again. The future of sight is no longer a dream, it's an exhilarating possibility. But wait, what's a supercharged eye without a supercharged body? Losses like arms and legs can be utterly devastating. However, prosthetic technology has sky-flied from clunky wooden limbs to futuristic robotic marvels. The true miracle: scientists connecting these advanced devices directly to nerves and muscles, allowing them to respond to mere thoughts. Yes, you read that right. Imagine your brain sending signals for a missing limb gasp. It's like technology has teamed up with our minds for an epic comeback story. Modern prosthetics are now superstars of sensory feedback. Picture this: a wearer can feel pressure or texture as they effortlessly grasp objects. Suddenly, prosthetics transform from mere tools into dynamic extensions of the body. Witnessing someone wielding a thought-controlled arm while grabbing a cup of water or tying shoelaces is akin to watching sci-fi flicker to life in reality. It's a triumphant testament to how far we've come in merging human intention with technological wizardry. As if that isn't impressive enough, let's dive into the realm of robotic surgery. With the precision of a master craftsman, surgical robots take center stage, revolutionizing operating rooms everywhere. Goodbye to the shaky hands of human surgeons. These meticulously engineered robotic arms can perform intricate maneuvers that are simply impossible for human wrists, directing the bots through tiny incisions while observing the action via magnified 3D cameras. Pure brilliance. Robotic surgery has sprouted a reputation, particularly in delicate fields such as urology and gynecology, where precision is essential. Patients benefiting from this cutting-edge technique often marvel at their reduced pain levels, quicker recoveries, and surprisingly smaller scars. Who knew that undergoing surgery could feel more like a walk in the park than a daunting battlefield? Yet, these magnificent machines aren't without their costs and training challenges. Despite the price tags and hefty learning curves, the success of robotic surgery proclaims a thrilling future for medical science. One where surgery morphs into a less invasive and exceedingly accurate art form. It's almost surreal to think about how technology is enabling healthcare to become more efficient, less scary, and positively patient-friendly. Additionally, the collective excitement surrounding these advancements fosters a unique camaraderie, binding innovators and hopeful patients together in anticipation of what's next. In this exhilarating arena, technology is not just enhancing lives, it's revitalizing them. Both bionic eyes and thought-controlled prosthetic limbs are vivid illustrations of how science fiction has sprinted into our real-world lives. So here's to the brilliant minds tirelessly sculpting a future brimming with potential, where humanity and technology creatively collaborate. The journey promises not just inspiring innovations, but profound improvements to the human experience. Cheers to a world where anything is possible. Robotic surgery is like giving human hands a technological upgrade, transforming them into miniature instruments with surgical precision. Imagine a surgeon using a joystick instead of a scalpel. It's like playing a video game. But the stakes are a bit higher. With the magic of robotics, procedures that once required long incisions can now be performed through tiny openings, resulting in quicker recovery times, less pain, and a better shot at impressing the nurses with your rapid healing skills. Telemedicine has blown the doors off traditional healthcare, letting doctors and patients chat while continents apart. Gone are the days of cranky car rides to clinics. These days, a comfy couch and a video call will do. Physicians can diagnose, prescribe, and advise faster than you can complain about waiting rooms. It's practically wizardry. Those in rural areas, war zones, or even astronauts zipping around in space can seamlessly connect to healthcare professionals as though they're just a text away. The pandemic was like a turbo boost for telemedicine, showing us that routine checkups could easily happen from the comfort of our homes or pajamas. If that's your style, pioneering wearable tech is in on the action too, sending data on blood pressure and more straight to doctors. This real-time relay of health information has turned remote care into a smooth operation, tearing down the old barriers of distance, cost, and time. However, let's keep it real. Telemedicine isn't a substitute for every examination. Sometimes you just need a doctor to poke and prod to figure things out. Still, for millions, it's a game changer, no longer bound by geography. Healthcare now flows through digital networks, making sure care is accessible no matter where you are, whether at home or floating in a spacecraft. Now, when we talk about space, we're venturing into the realm of space medicine, the ultimate test for human adaptability. In the unfamiliar embrace of microgravity, astronauts face bizarre challenges like bone shrinkage and fluid shifts that leave them with puffy faces. Who knew that a brief escape from Earth could turn you into a wonky version of yourself? Radiation exposure adds yet another layer to their challenges, putting their long-term health at risk. NASA is on it, though, developing innovative techniques to help astronauts survive this strange new world. Space medicine digs deep to find out exactly how adaptable the human body can be in this relentless pursuit of the stars. Through rigorous exercise regimens and careful nutritional monitoring, astronauts are kept in tip-top shape, proving that even in zero gravity, it's not all floaty and free. They also get psychological support because, believe it or not, floating around in space can be a tad lonely. And let's not forget the experiments. Scientists are cranking out research on new materials and drugs designed to shield astronauts from pesky radiation and immune changes. The knowledge gained doesn't just prepare us for future Mars missions, but also reveals vital insights into earthly conditions like osteoporosis and muscle wasting. Who would think that what happens out there could help us down here? Ultimately, space medicine is a question mark on the resilience of humanity. How adaptable is the human body when confronted with extreme conditions? The answers they uncover could dictate whether we flourish beyond our lovely blue planet or float aimlessly for eternity. And while astronauts lose bone density in microgravity, they're collectively pushing the limits of human endurance. giving us all a peek into what might come next, whether on Mars or floating around in the cosmic expanse. In the topsy-turvy world of space, gravity takes a vacation, but sadly, our bones don't get to join the party. Without the Earth's heavy embrace, these floating astronauts can wave goodbye to 1% of their bone mass each month. It's like a bone age reversal program, except instead of looking youthful, they're setting themselves up for fractures and brittle bones, much like an elderly earthling suffering from osteoporosis. Who knew being weightless could be a real pain in the neck? To tackle their wobbly skeletons, astronauts have embraced their inner gym rats, armed with resistance machines that pretend to lift weights. They get their sweat on daily, channeling their best "I'm working out in zero-gravity" faces. Alongside their exercise routines, there's a buffet of nutritional supplements to keep those bones from falling apart like a poorly made sandwich. Meanwhile, scientists are carefully monitoring every lunge, squat, and nutrient intake. Talk about dedication to bone health. The looming specter of long Mars missions is keeping space scientists awake at night. They're imagining years of zero gravity where astronauts might return with bones as fragile as a delicate glass ornament. While astronauts sacrifice their bodies for the sake of science, the knowledge gained shines like a neon sign. It's not just about floating around space, they're revealing the secrets of bone biology, leading to innovations that could help osteoporosis patients back on Earth. Nothing like the cosmos to yield earthly solutions. Enter the world of DNA sequencing, the unsung hero of modern medicine. Since the 1970s, scientists have been cracking the genetic code like a secret recipe, figuring out the order of nucleotides, those tiny building blocks that define all living things. Fast forward to the early 2000s, and boom, the Human Genome Project unveils our 3 billion letters of life, kicking off a whirlwind of discovery that has transformed the way we diagnose diseases and provide treatments that are a perfect match for folks' unique genetic makeup. These days, getting your genome sequenced is cheaper than a night at your favorite takeout joint. You could find out why Uncle Bob always sneezes or what makes Cousin Sally tick at family reunions. Doctors are now using this tech to diagnose rare disorders faster than a speeding bullet and track outbreaks like seasoned detectives. It feels like the world of genetics is finally coming to life, unveiling mysteries that have escaped us for centuries. Personalized medicine is where the magic really happens. For eons, treatments were like one-size-fits-all socks, great for some, but generally uncomfortable for others. Now, with our newfound genetic wisdom, those dusty old days are fading away. Each treatment is becoming more like a tailored suit, perfectly adjusted to fit the individual's unique genetic profile, making healthcare as personalized as your favorite coffee order. Who doesn't want that? With every leap in genetic science, we're unlocking the secrets of our biological book, letter by letter. Imagine being able to communicate with our cells, understanding their language, and figuring out how to keep our bodies in optimum shape. Each gene explored represents a potential breakthrough, a chance to tweak medicine in ways we once considered pure science fiction. The future of health is now fascinatingly intertwined with the strands of our DNA. So here we are, floating in a thrilling era of discovery backed by our brave astronauts. They're not just off gallivanting in space, they're opening the vaults of knowledge that reshape how we view health on Earth. With the understanding that gravity shapes our bodies truly and the excitement of personalized treatments, humanity is dancing to a new tune. It's a supersonic adventure as we dive deeper into our genes, seeking the secrets they hold. Imagine a world where doctors can read your genetic map like a treasure map to health. That's the magic of personalized medicine. Instead of the old one-size-fits-all approach, treatments now cater to your unique DNA. This means determining which drugs will work best for you, predicting how you might react, and even spotting potential health issues before they strike. Talk about a backstage pass to your own body's secrets. Take cancer therapy, for instance. Gone are the days when doctors pick treatments based solely on where a tumor is located. Nowadays, the focus is all about the dastardly mutations driving it. It's like a superhero movie where the villains are specific mutations, and the new treatments are perfectly tailored sidekicks ready to save the day. Even common medications, like blood thinners or antidepressants, can be more accurately prescribed thanks to genetic testing. Patient care has taken on an entirely new flavor with the emergence of targeted therapies. Say goodbye to the pharmaceutical roulette where you pray for the best. patients with rare genetic disorders can now receive tailored treatments crafted precisely for their mutation. It's as if doctors are knitting a personalized sweater for your health rather than handing you a generic one that may or may not fit. Let's sprinkle in a little gene therapy fluff. If our DNA is a book filled with medical stories, some good, some dreary gene therapy aims to rewrite the plot. By injecting healthy gene copies or silencing the troublesome ones, scientists are beginning to tackle the very roots of inherited diseases. The journey began in the 1990s with a few hiccups. But hold on now, we've got success stories that would make any medical thrill ride enthusiast proud. Take the plight of children with rare immune deficiencies, once facing an unfairly short life. Through gene therapy, many have turned their luck around. Now, they're flaunting their newfound vitality and kicking life's challenges to the curb. And those who once lived in darkness due to forms of blindness, they're now peeking through the veil of shadow after receiving corrective genes in their retinas. But wait, there's even more magic under the research microscope. Advances like CRISPR are pushing the envelope. This gives scientists the ability to make precise edits in our DNA, like a master chef enhancing a recipe. This nifty tool was borrowed from bacteria, which use CRISPR as a way to fend off invading viruses. Imagine bacteria as tiny warriors. And now scientists are wielding these warrior secrets to shape the future. CRISPR works like molecular scissors, elegantly guided to cut and paste genes with surgical precision. It's a transformative shift in how we approach genetic changes. What once seemed like a plot twist straight out of a science fiction novel is now an exciting reality. So buckle up, because we're on the brink of rewriting the very code of life and restoring what we thought was lost. In essence, gene therapy and personalized medicines represent a thrilling evolution in healthcare. With the promise of treating the root causes of diseases instead of merely managing symptoms, we're diving deep into the genetic pool. The notion of a personalized approach brings a fresh perspective, turning each patient into their own unique narrative, lovingly told through the lens of modern science. Grab your popcorn. Folks, the future of medicine is here. And it's a blockbuster. Suddenly, the once far-fetched idea of fixing inherited mutations or reprogramming cells is now a feasible reality. CRISPR, the superstar of gene editing, has hit the lab scene with a bang, tackling genetic diseases in animals, beefing up crops, and even stepping into the murky waters of human embryo editing in bold trials. This tool's straightforwardness and pinpoint accuracy make it the ultimate player in biology. It's like giving nature a nifty software update. But, hang on, it drags along some hefty ethical baggage, raising eyebrows about distinguishing healing from enhancement. Stem cells roll into this narrative like the ultimate medical superheroes, armed with the incredible power to regenerate damaged tissues. They're versatile little rascals. One moment they're morphing into neurons or muscle fibers, and the next, they're rolling up their sleeves to fix body parts. In embryos, they're the architects, crafting entire bodies from just one fertilized egg. Even as adults, they work quietly in bone marrow, skin, and intestines, going about their daily business of repair without fussing about credit. As scientists dug deeper into this biological treasure trove, they figured out how to harness these cells to regenerate tissues obliterated by illness or injury. In lab settings, stem cells have been worked like magic into heart muscle and insulin-producing pancreatic cells, even creating mini-brains in early development stages. Can you imagine? Clinical trials are the real-life testing grounds now, exploring if stem cells can repair spinal cord injuries, restore sight, or fix faltering hearts. But let's not sugarcoat it, these little warriors don't come without risks. Their uncontrolled growth can lead to chaos, but the upside, absolutely phenomenal. Stem cells represent the golden ticket to medicine's dream of regeneration, hinting at a future where our bodies might magically mend themselves like well-adjusted Lego structures. Who wouldn't want to mend a broken heart, literally and figuratively, without a trip to the hospital? Now enter regenerative medicine, where the goal isn't just putting a band-aid on afflictions or tossing in replacements. Nope, it's gunning for something way more captivating: revive and restore damaged tissues and organs to their prime glory. Researchers are dabbling with combinations of stem cells, growth factors, biomaterials, and sometimes even throwing in some gene editing, all to persuade the body to call forth its inner healer. Experimental treatments are already turning heads with their remarkable potential. Think of it. regenerating skin for those heroically battling burns, repairing cartilage in achy joints, or even piecing together parts of the heart after a heart attack like a puzzle. It's like watching dramatic medical magic unfold, where nature and science team up for some serious healing action. Let's not forget bioengineering, the slick, high-tech side of this saga. There, scientists are fashioning scaffolds designed to guide cells into forming organized tissues, like building blocks for body parts. With these innovations, they're leaning into the idea that perhaps our bodies could one day not just survive but thrive, fixing themselves like they used to back in the day before life threw a couple of curveballs. So, as we dive into this dynamic world filled with possibilities, we can only wait with bated breath for the adventures that await. It's a lively mix of science fiction and medicine where the boundaries between healing and enhancement are blurred, and the future is bright. Cheers to the brilliant minds pushing the envelope while sometimes questioning the wisdom behind it all. After all, we're living in fascinating times. Regenerative medicine is not just playing doctor with a band-aid. It's like having your very own handyman to fix your biological issues from the inside out. We're talking about a futuristic frontier where the body isn't just patched up but genuinely motivated to rebuild itself. Amazing, right? Enter the age of 3D printers, which have swapped their old plastic toys for something far more intriguing: human tissue scaffolds. Picture this: specialized bioinks are mixed with living cells and supportive gels to print nifty scaffolds shaped like everything from ears to blood vessels and even skin patches. Instead of playing with Play-Doh, researchers are cleverly guiding cells to grow in 3 dimensions, crafting tissues that look and act like the real deal. The scientists are still in the lab, but they've already churned out cartilage, bone, and liver tissue, inching us closer to a world where organs could be printed on demand, solving donor shortages in style. And let's not forget about the real-life magic of bioprinting. It's not just for building cool organ models, but also a game changer for drug testing. By creating incredibly realistic 3D organ models, researchers can evaluate drugs without resorting to animal trials. That means fewer furry friends in lab coats and more focus on fine-tuning our medications with high-tech wizardry. Can you believe that assembling living tissue layer by layer is happening right now? Mind blown. Now, let's shift the spotlight to artificial skin. True. Every year, countless individuals die while waiting for organ transplants, making the need for solutions ever more pressing. Enter the world of science, where ingenious researchers are now cultivating organs right in laboratories. By utilizing stem cells and super snazzy biodegradable scaffolds, they've started creating functional bladders, blood vessels, and even tracheas. And while hearts and livers are still in the making, the advances are nothing short of impressive. Talk about a scientific renaissance. One particularly cool technique in the organ-growing endeavor is decellularization. No, it's not a fancy massage. Scientists take an animal organ and essentially wash it clean of all its cells, leaving behind a protein framework. Imagine cleaning out your refrigerator, only to fill it back up with brand new groceries, human cells in this case. This method aims to reduce rejection risks by ensuring the organ matches the patient's own biology. Sounds like science fiction? Not anymore. Even if large-scale production seems a bit far off, the early successes offer a ray of hope. Just picture a future where custom-grown organs are available on demand. No more waiting around, biting nails in uncertainty. Instead, patients could have their healing built cell by cell in a lab, like a heartwarming episode of a medical reality show. This time it's personal organ edition. Then we switch gears to cancer immunotherapy, a dazzling approach that turns the body into its own superhero against tumors. Cancer is the ultimate sneak, often eluding the immune system like a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Immunotherapy's mission: to awaken the body's defenses and train them to recognize those pesky malignant cells that think they can get away with it. One fascinating method involves checkpoint inhibitors, which are like removing the brakes cancer places on immune cells. Other tactics include vaccines that prep the immunity team for specific tumor markers. But perhaps the most jaw-dropping techniques are T-cell therapies, where a patient's own T-cells are genetically enhanced to zero in on cancer with the finesse of a trained hunter. It's the stuff of superhero movies. And for some patients battling blood cancers, it results in dramatic remissions where all other treatments have failed. Of course, these treatments can be grueling and pricey, but they mark a radical shift in strategy. Imagine instead of bombarding tumors with radiation or chemicals, you essentially call in the immune system as the first line of defense. Immunotherapy is reshaping our understanding of medicine, merging it with a complex field of biology and serving as a reminder that our bodies may hold the ultimate arsenal against disease. While we're on the topic of precision, let's discuss monoclonal antibodies, a game-changing innovation. These little warriors are the immune system's smart weapons, designed to latch onto particular foes with laser-like focus. Their creation in the 1970s revolutionized medicine, enabling scientists to produce high-quality, identical copies of a single specific antibody. It's like a precision toolkit where every tool is perfectly crafted for a unique job. With these advancements, medicine is evolving into something that feels not only hopeful but downright exciting. As we hurtle towards a future where lab-grown organs and tailored immunotherapies redefine healthcare, the possibilities appear limitless. So, buckle up, folks. The journey through science is just getting started, and it promises to be a thrilling ride filled with laughs and awe. Monoclonal antibodies are like the precision laser pointers in the high-stakes world of medicine, expertly targeting cancers, autoimmune diseases, and infections. They have a knack for sticking to specific targets on cells or pathogens, blocking those dastardly tumor signals that aid their growth. It's like having a super smart bouncer at a nightclub who knows exactly which troublemakers to kick out. Plus, they're vital for diagnostic tools like pregnancy tests, proving that science also knows how to throw a surprise party at just the right time. Now, let's talk about money. These monoclonal antibodies don't come cheap, but they are one of the biotech world's golden children. Think of them as the high-maintenance stars of the medical universe. They mimic the immune system's natural defenses with a precision that even gold medalists would envy. They represent a modern medical revolution, turning the body's own defense strategies into targeted treatments instead of wielding the usual blunt instruments that could only hope to do the trick by sheer force. Then there's the magic of mRNA vaccines, an innovation that was decades in the making. Not an overnight sensation as many might think. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, it felt like these vaccines had just sprung to life. But behind the curtain, a lot of dedicated scientists had been fine-tuning this technology long before. The idea was simple yet brilliant. Deliver synthetic mRNA to instruct our cells to produce viral proteins, thus kick-starting our immune responses, like giving our bodies a gentle nudge to wake up and fight. The early days of this effort in the 1990s were not as smooth. You see, those first attempts flopped harder than an awkward dance move at a wedding. The mRNA degraded faster than bread left out in the sun, and the body was throwing an immunological tantrum at the sight of the synthetic stuff. It took years of painstaking research to figure out how to stabilize those molecules and package them in lipid nanoparticles. And let me tell you, when COVID-19 showed up, the groundwork was ready, allowing for the vaccines to pop into existence faster than popcorn in a microwave. Speaking of speed, the COVID-19 pandemic was like putting fire under medicine's feet. Traditional vaccine development felt like watching paint dry. It could take 10 years or more. But during the pandemic, everything changed. Researchers, governments, and big pharma teams got in a frenzy, compressing timelines without sacrificing safety. The mRNA technology wasn't just waiting for its moment. It was practically shoving its way to the front of the line, thanks to all those years of groundwork laid on coronaviruses. Less than a year after the first infections, multiple vaccines were emerging, a feat so unprecedented that it felt like a superhero movie plot. This medical sprint didn't just change vaccination timelines, it flipped how clinical trials operated, how data was shared, and how vaccines were manufactured globally, almost like watching a concert with the world joining in on a massive jam session. And guess what? The pandemic didn't just act as a speed boost, it fostered new collaborations and innovations within the scientific community. Open science became the mantra, and public-private partnerships emerged like never before. The urgency created an environment where the brilliance of ideation mixed with passion and necessity led to a revolution in vaccine technology, showing that sometimes crises can illuminate pathways previously shrouded in darkness. In summary, life's little hiccups sometimes lead to major breakthroughs. Monoclonal antibodies and mRNA vaccines represent the magic that happens when dedication, intelligence, and a sense of urgency collide. From turning complex biological techniques into accessible treatments to toasting to unprecedented medical triumphs, these innovations remind us to always keep pushing boundaries. After all, the next groundbreaking miracle might just be waiting around the corner. The remarkable scientific advances we witnessed during the pandemic were nothing short of a miracle. Amid all the chaos and loss, the urgent need for solutions brought forth innovations typically reserved for fiction. Vaccines that previously took years to develop popped up in mere months. Knowing that necessity is the mother of invention has never been more explicit. We saw humanity come together, highlighting our capacity for extraordinary feats in the face of hardship. You might think vaccines come from magical elixirs, but the truth is even wilder. Some of these life-saving jabs employ harmless viruses as delivery vessels, making it sound like science fiction. By engineering viral vectors, scientists converted these benign bugs into disease fighters. They cleverly slip into cells, making them churn out key proteins from the harmful pathogens while keeping nasty germs at bay. Who knew that those pesky adenoviruses, the ones that usually make you sneeze, could be repurposed in such a heroic manner? How do these viral vectors work their magic? They produce powerful immune responses without your body ever knowing they were bad news intended. Among the pioneers of this viral delivery method have been vaccines for COVID-19 and Ebola, showcasing that when you work with nature, you can reshape its outputs. Imagine taking a virus known only for irritating colds and turning it into an immune-boosting superhero. Creativity in science strikes again. But viral delivery wasn't the only groundbreaking innovation emerging from this mess. Antivirals have become the shiny knight in shining armor for battling infections. Unlike antibiotics, which target bacteria, viruses have always been tricky foes, sneaky little ninjas lurking inside your cells. For years, researchers tackled the challenge, eventually crafting antivirals that can efficiently put these viral villains in check without sending your entire system into chaos. The journey to develop antivirals was akin to unwrapping a never-ending puzzle. Early successes involved concocting drugs that picked on viral enzymes, while later innovations created powerful combinations to combat HIV, turning what was once a death sentence into a manageable condition. Talk about transforming doom into hope. These breakthroughs have saved countless lives and paved the way for the eventual treatment of once deadly infections like hepatitis C. Each antiviral represents an evolution in our understanding of viruses. They're not one-size-fits-all solutions. Each drug is tailored like a bespoke suit, targeting the unique mechanisms of different viruses. Yet, as clever as scientists are, they must stay on their toes as viruses have a knack for evolving faster than a chameleon at a rainbow party. Still, our strides in antiviral therapy stand testament to humanity's resilience and ingenuity. Finally, it all began with the first antiviral that tackled herpes, a game-changer that opened the floodgates for the antiviral revolution. In this age of quick fixes, it's essential to remember the slow, meticulous process of scientific breakthroughs that safeguard our health. Just like a master craftsman, scientists chiseled away at the complexities of viral infections, equipping the world with potent tools to combat these invisible foes, proving that patience really does pay off. In the funky 1970s, a group of ambitious scientists decided it was time to take on the herpes simplex virus once and for all. They concocted a clever little antiviral that was like an imposter at a party, mimicking Denne's building blocks so perfectly that when the virus attempted a replication, it unwittingly invited this fraud into its midst. Cue the dramatic halt in replication. This sly trick made sure that the virus got all confused, leaving healthy cells untouched. Talk about a plot twist. Enter stage right, Aselvia, the unsung hero of herpes treatment. With this viral party crasher on the scene, the world witnessed a remarkable transformation. Symptoms diminished, recurrences became less frequent, and those afflicted could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Not only did Aselvia come to the rescue, but it also cleared the path for similar antiviral knights in shining armor, taking aim at other pesky villains like chickenpox and shingles. Superheroes rarely get the credit they deserve. Despite its humble beginnings, the success of this antiviral made waves in the medical community, proving that fighting against viruses was no longer a pipe dream. Researchers discovered that with creative thinking and a sprinkle of science, an entire new class of targeted therapies could emerge. As history has shown us repeatedly, one breakthrough can turn the tide, transforming despair into renewed hope. Who knew science could feel so much like a potion crafting adventure? Fast forward to the 1980s, when HIV crashed onto the scene, strutting around with an aura of doom. This virus had a knack for wreaking havoc on immune systems, leaving its victims wide open to infections that felt like a heavyweight boxing match, only there was no referee to call it off. Communities were heartbroken, and promising early treatments were about as sparse as a unicorn sighting. What a dismal backdrop for the acute arrival of HIV. But hold on, because the magic of medicine was brewing. In the mid-90s, the scene shifted dramatically with highly active antiretroviral therapy, an innovative combo of drugs that worked like a well-rehearsed musical ensemble, targeting different facets of the virus's life cycle. Suddenly, patients found themselves in the driver's seat, suppressing viral replication to virtually undetectable levels. It was like going from viewing life in black and white to living in vibrant technicolor. The groundbreaking developments in HIV treatment turned the villain of a death sentence into a pervasive chronic condition that people could manage. Health was regained, jobs were back on the line, and lives were extended. The reality may not have included a miraculous cure, and access remained a thorny issue. But those who stood for change proved that collaboration and activism could rock the foundations of medicine. It was the ultimate feel-good story. Now, let's swing into a different realm entirely, the perplexing world of prions. Imagine scientists, who believed for ages that infectious agents had to be living entities, staring dumbfounded as prions entered the scene. These sneaky little proteins don't even carry DNA or RNA. Discovered in bizarre brain diseases like Kuru in humans and Scrapie in sheep, prions turn conventional wisdom upside down. What's their game plan, you ask? Well, prions have a unique talent for hijacking normal brain proteins, causing them to misfold like a bad origami project. This sparks a catastrophic chain reaction of chaos that just keeps spreading the damage, wreaking havoc in ways scientists could hardly comprehend. These infectious proteins might just be one of the most bizarre topics in medical discussions, and certainly a highlight at any party of pathogenic agents. Porns, a term that sounds more like a new dance craze than a dire medical condition, actually marks the onset of a mind-boggling neurodegenerative phenomenon. Picture it as a villain in a horror movie, spreading slowly yet steadily, leading to disastrous neural breakdown. Initially, the concept seemed straight out of a science fiction novel. It challenged the very foundation of biology. What if infections could be transmitted not by sneaky little genes, but purely by their shape? The mind reels. Imagine a folded protein auditioning for the role of an evil mastermind, turning benign creatures into destructive forces. While prion diseases are rare, they lurk ominously at the fringes of medicine, reminding us that nature has a wicked sense of humor. They're untreatable puzzles, lurking in the shadows, catching the unsuspecting healthcare heroes off guard. It's as if nature is waving a cheeky banner saying, "You thought you understood me, didn't you?" Then there was the infamous mad cow disease in the 1980s and 90s, a real blockbuster of medical mysteries. Britain faced a bovine crisis when cattle, fueled by contaminated feed, began displaying what could only be described as a bizarre set of symptoms: stumbling, aggression, and a shocking exit stage left, suddenly. The cozy beef stew on our dinner tables turned into a frightening threat as the infection leapt from cows to humans. Talk about a plot twist worthy of a thriller. Alarm bells rang and the story turned grim when humans started showing similar symptoms. The culprit, those elusive prions, they had cunningly crossed species barriers, creating havoc in the eyes of the public, farmers, and health authorities. It was like nature decided to play a game of pong with our trust in agriculture and medicine, prompting drastic measures like massive culls of the livestock and a slew of food safety reforms. Cue the gasp from the audience. But hold your horses, it's not the end of our wild journey through medical oddities. The impact of mad cow disease was a riveting training montage for the human race about the risks of recycling animal byproducts. It's a twist that taught everyone to stay on their toes, because even the stealthiest of pathogens could pull off a sneaky leap into our lives. This saga remains an unforgettable reminder of what happens when we let our guard down. Fast forward to the antibiotic showdown. Yes, they're the superheroes of medicine, but don't be fooled. They're like that grumpy old uncle who refuses to help with anything outside of the family. Antibiotics are great against bacterial bad guys, but helpless against those sly little viruses that slip into our cells. much like trying to fix a flat tire with a spoon. Using antibiotics for viral infections only adds to the problem by encouraging resistance. Talk about a plot twist nobody expected. Understanding the difference between bacteria and viruses has become essential in our health narrative. It's like deciphering a secret code. One wrong move can have serious consequences for treatment. Doctors have to become detectives, figuring out the culprit behind your sniffles and sore throat, with the stakes this high. Accurate diagnoses are crucial to ensure that antibiotics remain effective for those infamous bacterial villains when we really need them. As the curtain falls on this medical odyssey, we're left with a clear message. Vigilance is the name of the game. The intrigue of prions, the twists of mad cow disease, and the complexities of antibiotics serve as reminders that health science is a fluid, unpredictable journey. So, the next time you're tempted to question modern medicine, remember, nature loves surprises, and so should our readiness to tackle whatever comes next. Bacteriophages, affectionately known as phages, are the superheroes of the microscopic world, gunning down harmful bacteria with style. Picture millions of them zooming around, multiplying and causing mayhem among bacteria while giving a big, sarcastic wink at those nasty little germs. Unlike your run-of-the-mill viruses that wreak havoc on human health, phages have a specific target. They latch onto bacteria, inject their genetic blueprints, and then hit the self-destruct button, obliterating the bacteria in a spectacular burst of viral fireworks. Back in the early 20th century, scientists had a brilliant idea using phages for what they whimsically dubbed phage therapy to treat bacterial infections. However, when antibiotics crashed onto the scene, it was like the phages were benched in the grand game of microbial defense. But with scary antibiotic resistance making friends with superbugs, these little fighters are getting a well-deserved comeback tour. They're not just flashy. They can precisely zero in on their bacterial foes while leaving all the other microbes untouched. Talk about precision targeting. The phage resurgence isn't just a modern fad. It's reminiscent of ancient wisdom coming back to save the day. In fact, some regions in Eastern Europe, particularly Georgia and Poland, kept the phage flame burning brightly, fine-tuning phage therapies that are now being dusted off and brought back into the global spotlight. Meanwhile, the rest of the world grapples with antibiotic resistance tighter than jeans after Thanksgiving, truly a recipe for disaster that has folks yearning for that classic yet underdog remedy. How does this work? When dire situations arise and patients develop infections that laugh in the face of all known antibiotics, researchers conjure customized phage cocktails. Imagine cocktail hour, but instead of fruity drinks, you're mixing up potent viruses specifically tailored to attack the troublesome bacteria. It's nothing short of magical, and with clever advances in genetic engineering, scientists are tweaking these phages to maximize their effectiveness and make them safer. Who knew? Viruses could get a makeover too. Despite all this viral brilliance, challenges do lurk like ninjas in the shadows. Phages are like picky eaters. They require a precise match to the bacteria they're swooping in to take down. So, finding that perfect phage for a particular bacterial adversary is no walk in the park. Plus, the regulatory framework is still adjusting like a teenager learning to drive. But amidst the hurdles, the potential is akin to finding a hidden gem in your attic, shimmering with promise for the future of medicine. As we hold our collective breath, it seems we might be on the brink of a pharmaceutical renaissance that takes cues from the past. Phage therapy ringing in like a familiar refrain. It may well become an essential part of the 21st century medical arsenal, offering us hope just when we need it most. This is not just a revival, it's a testament to how yesterday's solutions could be the key to navigating tomorrow's health crises. And speaking of viral villains, let's not overlook how some cancers trace back to those sneaky little viruses. Not every cancer story comes from the land of random mutations or toxic exposures. Some are the crafty results of viral antics. We've got to keep our eyes open because, as nature proves, sometimes even the enemy can turn out to be a reluctant ally in our ongoing quest for health and wellness. After all, isn't it a bit wild to think that the very entities we fear can sometimes step up to save the day? The human papillomavirus, HPV, may sound like an annoying internet pop-up, but it carries some heavy truths, linked to cervical and throat cancers. This little virus has quite a reputation. Then there's the tag team of hepatitis B and C, which quite literally come bearing gifts in the form of liver cancer. Not to be outmatched, the Epstein-Barr virus pops in with its own cancer-related affiliations. Who knew viruses could be such overachievers? These revelations have sparked a revolutionary shift in our understanding of cancer. Turns out, it's not only about genetics and environmental factors, but also about those uninvited viral guests. The bright side, there's now a buffet of vaccines, deliciously designed to keep viruses like HPV and hepatitis at bay, potentially saving countless lives. It's like putting up a very effective bouncer at the cancer club, ensuring that some malignancies never even get a chance to start. What's more, this linkage showcases the fascinating, if precarious, dance between pathogens and our biology. It unveils the quiet superheroics of vaccines, not just blockers of infections, but also ninja warriors against cancers that could rear their heads decades down the line. Talk about a double whammy. Vaccines are like that uncertain first date that turns into a lush romance, guarding us against more than we originally thought. But wait, don't forget about chemotherapy, which is quite the colorful origin story straight out of a war zone. The first chemotherapy was born from mustard gas, and not the kind you slather on your hot dog. In the early 1900s, physicians observed soldiers exposed to this cruel chemical. Those poor souls had their white blood cells obliterated. A light bulb went off. If mustard gas wipes out these defenders, maybe it could slow down cancer's rapid cell division. From those grim realizations sprouted the very first chemotherapies. Lymphoma patients became the first to try nitrogen mustards. And wouldn't you know it, those tumors began to shrink, bringing down fevers and offering a glimmer of relief. Sure, it wasn't a cure, but it was a thrilling proof of concept, proof that we could fight back, even if we were just throwing chemicals into the fray. The evolution of chemotherapy has since transformed into a dazzling array of drugs, each one skillfully crafted to target specific aspects of cancer's relentless growth. What started as a tool of destruction in war became a sophisticated weapon against disease, altering the medical landscape forever. Technology has come a long way in the fight against cancer. Imagine linear accelerators behaving like meticulous sculptors, delivering radiation beams from all angles to shape doses around tumors. Meanwhile, proton therapy is like a precision artist, delivering energy that digs deep into tissue while leaving precious nearby cells unscathed. With advanced imaging systems, doctors adjust beams in real time, dancing along with the patient's breath, ensuring a tailor-fit approach to treatment. While radiation isn't a magic wand that cures every cancer type, it works wonders in shrinking untouchable tumors and cleaning up post-surgery. It's that careful, invisible force that only scientists could dream up, blending physics with medicine in a captivating way. This fusion transforms energy, turning it into a healing entity, silently battling against cells gone rogue. It's like superhero technology, fighting crime without anyone ever noticing until the day arrives for a checkup. Targeted therapy swoops in with a laser-like focus on those pesky cancer cells, leaving their healthy counterparts alone, like a generous dinner guest. Gone are the days where chemotherapy barreled through the body, leaving chaos in its wake. This fancy new approach is all about figuring out the unique weaknesses of cancer cells, while granting the healthy tissues an all-access pass to stay out of harm's way. It's like customizing a pair of jeans perfectly tailored just for you. Some treatments focus on specific proteins, receptors, or signaling pathways the tumors latch onto for survival. In less dramatic terms, a single little pill can flip the off switch on a rogue tumor, making it shrink faster than a balloon in a room full of tiny pin cushions. However, not all cancers play fair, and resistance can develop. But hey, we didn't defeat every villain on the first try either. This precision approach rocked the oncology world, shifting gears from treating every cancer, the same to a tailored, patient-specific strategy. The results, sometimes jaw-dropping, what may have seemed like a death sentence transformed into an ongoing, manageable condition. Targeted therapy isn't just a beautiful theory, it's a game-changer that proves that finesse can win over brute force. This shift was akin to upgrading from a clunky old flip phone to the latest smartphone. Everything just becomes smarter, sleeker, and incredibly more effective. Then there's the dazzling star of the show, CAR T-cell therapy. In the world of cancer treatment, this innovative approach reprograms the body's very own immune cells. Doctors kick things off by snagging a patient's T-cells, those little white blood superheroes in our veins, earned from countless battles against ailments. These cells are then tweaked in a lab to express a unique receptor, akin to equipping them with a snazzy new gadget that helps them find cancer cells easily. Once multiplied and reintroduced into the patient system, these reprogrammed T cells are like a reloaded army, ready to put on their armor and zone in on cancer cells with laser precision. It's exciting to think that the very cells designed to protect us are being transformed into elite hunters, not just bumbling about like confused tourists. They embark on a mission fueled by sheer tenacity, seeking out the cancerous hideouts and battling relentlessly. This cutting-edge therapy showcases just how far we've come, blending science with the innate power of our immune system to craft an extraordinary offense against cancer. Each evolution in cancer treatment, from sculpting tumors with technology to unleashing the power of reprogrammed cells, shows a riveting blend of creativity and intelligence. We truly are entering a golden age of cancer therapy, where cutting-edge methods and tailored approaches fuel the fight, bringing hope like never before. In the realm of blood cancers, CAR-T therapies have emerged as superheroes in lab coats, capable of vanishing diseases that once seemed indestructible within weeks. That's right, we're talking about a full-blown transformation where the body's own defenses are turbocharged to take on cancer cells. Of course, this thrilling ride isn't without bumps. Sometimes that immune response can spark fierce inflammation, but for many, it's like upgrading their body to a new model that's equipped to combat a notorious villain. For countless individuals grappling with cancer, CAR-T therapy represents more than just a medical marvel. It's a chance for a fresh start. Imagine your body morphing, going from a defensive stance to an offensive powerhouse that successfully knocks down cancer. Completeness is key, with some patients breezing into complete remission. People who once wore the heavy cloak of despair are now strutting into their futures with hope and a sense of normalcy that was previously thought lost. Historically, a cancer diagnosis felt like a one-way ticket to gloom town. But look around, thanks to cutting-edge surgery, advanced radiation techniques, chemotherapy, and innovative immunotherapies, people are claiming victory over cancers that once felt like death sentences. These treatments have ushered in an era where some folks don't just survive, they thrive, living decades beyond their initial diagnoses, basking in the joys of life. Yet, the story doesn't end with remission. It's important to remember that while remission offers a tantalizing glimpse of health, it's not a foolproof cure. For some, the sneaky disease may choose to make a comeback years later. This uncertainty is what makes life unpredictable. Yet it also allows patients to dream, to plan, and to embrace every precious moment. Children who once spent countless nights in dreary hospital rooms now paint futures filled with adulthood and dreams. Each remission, whether it sticks or plays a game of hide and seek, is a testament to the wonderful dance of science, medicine, and the unyielding human spirit. And while we keep our guard up like vigilant knights, these victories remind us of our progress in the ever-evolving battle against cancer, making us hopeful for the bright, bountiful possibilities lying just ahead. Now let's chat about the placebo effect, one of medicine's most captivating tricks. It turns out that when patients believe they're receiving treatment, their bodies can respond as though they truly are undergoing therapy. A mere sugar pill or saline injection can lead to some pretty impressive changes. Anxiety fades, pain eases, and even biological markers shift. This isn't just fantasy, it's science in action, where the mind and body engage in a beautiful waltz, showcasing the profound impact of belief and expectation. But hold on, placebos aren't the ultimate fix. You won't be able to kick infections to the curb or blast those tumors away with just a sprinkle of sugar. Yet their influence in symptom management is profound, underscoring how trust and environment play pivotal roles in the healing process. The lesson here: every treatment is a blend of biology and belief, reminding us that healing isn't solely in the hands of medicine, but also in the hearts of patients. Finally, let's give a shout out to double-blind trials, the unsung heroes of clinical testing. Researchers knew they had to silence any ounce of bias or hope to evaluate new treatments fairly. So, they crafted double-blind trials, where neither the researchers nor the subjects know who's getting the real deal and who's on the placebo express. This ingenious method not only preserves objectivity, but also helps paint a clearer picture of what works and what doesn't, shaping the future of medical breakthroughs. Imagine a world where medical trials played a game of hide and seek, in double-blind trials. Neither the patient nor the doctor knows who's getting the good stuff and who's getting the cotton candy pill, also known as a placebo. This nifty trick helps keep expectations from fooling the results, ensuring that genuine improvements are measured more clearly. It sounds a bit like a magic show, but voila! Double-blind trials are the bedrock of modern medicine, testing everything from painkillers that make you feel all warm and fuzzy to vaccines that keep the sniffles away. But let's not kid ourselves, designing these trials isn't a walk in the park. Researchers have to meticulously keep an eye on safety and outcomes, all while adhering to complex protocols. It's like juggling with one hand while riding a unicycle over a tightrope. Yet, this rigorous approach has transformed anecdotal evidence into rock-solid scientific knowledge. Just think, without them, we might still be swilling down snake oil and believing it's a miracle cure. The double-blind trial really is like a trusty superhero in the caped crusade for medical truth. Now, if double-blind is the superhero, the randomized controlled trial is the Wonder Woman. When testing new therapies, even the smallest differences between participants can sway the results like a feather on a seesaw. Unfair. And that's where randomization swoops in, assigning folks to groups like a lottery. So age, genetics, and lifestyle get equally scattered. This leads to fair comparisons that make researchers cheer. Alongside blinding and razor-sharp outcome measures, these trials are the gold standard in medical research. What does that mean for you? It means countless drugs and treatments have been found worthy or sent packing based on solid evidence. From life-changing therapies to those concepts that drift off into the ether, randomized controlled trials have refined medical practice like a master chef perfecting a recipe over years. While not every medical question can go through this process, it serves as the best compass for turning uncertainties into reliable insights and finally into healing. Safety first. Right, enter the ethics boards, the true guardians of patients in the realm of clinical trials. They're not just a bunch of folks in lab coats evaluating boring paperwork. Think of them more as the patient protection squad. Before any clinical trial gets a green light, these watchdogs scrutinize every detail to ensure people aren't treated like lab rats in a maze. Their critical eyes ask, are the risks worth it? Is informed consent really informed? And importantly, are vulnerable groups getting a fair shake? These boards aren't just there to pat themselves on the back after approving a study. They stick around like nosy friends at a party, insisting on regular updates and keeping an eye on anything that goes funky. If it looks like safety is in jeopardy, they don't hesitate to step in. All these safeguards are the result of learning from some pretty tough lessons in research history when the finer side of human dignity got swept aside. Thus, the intricate dance of medical trials continues, deftly balancing ethics, safety, and groundbreaking discoveries. While it might not always be as thrilling as a summer blockbuster, the impact is undeniably profound. Researchers, armed with their double-blind tactics and randomized approaches, are on a mission to separate fact from fiction, pushing the boundaries of what we know and, as a bonus, keeping the integrity of research intact. The stakes are high, the dance floor is set, and medicine is grooving its way towards a healthier future. In the grand theatre of medical history, the Tuskegee study takes center stage as a cautionary tale we can't ignore. This infamous 40-year saga unfolded right in our backyard, where hundreds of black men suffering from syphilis were deceived, left to wither away while researchers played a cruel game of observation. The moment truth crashed through the doors like an uninvited guest, public outrage erupted like a volcano, shaking the foundations of research ethics to their core. The fallout from Tuskegee was enough to change the rules of the research game forever. What began as a clandestine study transformed into a powerful call to action. As the curtains closed on the shameful chapter, sweeping reforms emerged. Suddenly, informed consent turned from a mere formality into a sacred contract, and oversight committees sprang into existence faster than you can say ethical research. Enter the Belmont Report, the superhero of the ethical world, proclaiming the virtues of respect, beneficence, and justice. Today, Tuskegee stands as a permanent marker reminding researchers that human lives hold immeasurable value, and trust is the glue that holds progress together. This legacy isn't just an old, dusty book on a shelf, it's woven into the very fabric of ethical research practices. So, rest assured, The lessons learned from those dark days ensure that science won't be stripped of its humanity anytime soon. Switching gears to the fascinating realm of organ transplants, the stakes couldn't be higher. Imagine playing a game of matchmaking, but instead of searching for Mr. Right, it's about finding the perfect organ. Each organ has its own unique molecular signature, like the secret password your immune system needs to determine friend or foe. If the signatures don't align, the result? A rejection that can be as dramatic as flinging a stylish scarf at an unsightly outfit. Out with the old, in with the new. Doctors dive into compatibility tests like culinary chefs whipping up a signature dish. They check blood types and human leukocyte antigens. Try saying that 3 times fast. It's a meticulous science where even the tiniest mismatch can send the immune system into a frenzy, attacking the new organ like a bouncer tossing a troublemaker out of the club. So, you can see why, in the world of transplants, every detail counts big time. Behind the sterile walls of operating rooms, the choreography of organ transplantation plays out. It's not a flashy dance, but the precision involved is nothing short of mesmerizing. Hearts and livers need to make their grand entrance within hours blink, and they're gone. Kidneys, they have a bit more leeway, but even they can only hang around for days. Each second counts when orchestrating the delicate balance between life-saving gifts and the unforgiving nature of time. In the end, this dance of organ donation and transplantation is all about survival, turning selflessness into a second chance at life. All that invisible arithmetic, the tests, the matches, and the timing, are the unsung heroes behind the scenes. In a world filled with uncertainty, these small but vital intricacies weave a safety net, safeguarding lives, and reminding everyone that the true magic of medicine lies in collaboration and trust. Immunosuppressants are the unsung heroes of the transplant world, ensuring that our body doesn't wage war on our new organs. Despite the best tissue matches, the immune system has a knack for being a bit too enthusiastic. Left unchecked, it will treat a transplanted organ like an alien invader, leading to a major drama. So, enter immunosuppressants, those little miracle pills that keep the chaos at bay. Early versions were more like taking a gamble on your health, but then along came cyclosporine, a game changer that made organ transplants a feasible reality for many. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows in the land of immunosuppressants. Finding the perfect dosage is akin to walking a tightrope. Too little and the organ's packing its bags. Too much and the patient's immune system is left vulnerable. Like a knight without armor, doctors roll up their sleeves and meticulously adjust dosages, tinkering with combinations to hit that sweet spot an immune system that's tranquil but not completely zonked out. This careful dance has transformed transplants from a miraculous rarity into a routine procedure, saving lives and showcasing the wonders of modern medicine. Yet, the shadows lurk in the form of black market organ trafficking. This global issue thrives on the desperate shortage of donor organs, exploiting the most vulnerable souls. In some parts of the world, folks are tricked or pressured into selling their kidneys for a pittance, while others wake up after surgery, baffled and missing their organs. These black market operations are like a horror story: no proper sterilization, follow-up care, or thoughtful matching, and they leave both donors and recipients in peril. The risks of infection, rejection, and a whole heap of pastoral nightmares are real and abundant. As governments and organizations rise up to combat this chilling practice, fixing the supply problem is equally essential. It isn't just about cracking down on criminals. It's about creating a transparent, fair, and accessible donation system that puts an end to this dark trade. The black market paints a dire picture, a reminder that one person's gain shouldn't sink another's dignity if we want to save lives. The path forward must prioritize ethical choices without sacrificing the vulnerable. Then, there's the wild world of xenotransplantation, where animal organs come into play. With a staggering number of patients on the waiting list, scientists are exploring a fascinating alternative, using organs from pigs. Why pigs, you ask? Well, their organs are surprisingly similar in size and function to ours, making them prime candidates. However, this is where things get tricky. The human immune system can react with the intensity of a soap opera, rejecting these animal tissues in mere minutes unless they're specially prepared. The scientific community isn't backing down in this challenge. Researchers are busy at work, altering pig genetics like crafting a designer dress in the lab by snipping out troublesome proteins and adding human genes so that the immune system takes a chill pill. It's a high-stakes game of genetic Jenga, making sure that the piggy organs play nice with our bodies. The dream is that one day, these pig organs could bridge the gap between supply and demand in the transplant world. Every success in xenotransplantation brings hope, but also more questions to chew on. Will humankind's newfound love affair with animal organs bear the fruit we desire, or will it be a cautionary tale? The line between science and ethics blurs as the pursuit of life-saving organs continues. With each step forward, it seems like we are dancing along with destiny, a lively, unpredictable waltz filled with intrigue, hope, and yes, a dash of humor to lighten the mood. The horizon may still be hazy, but the energy in the lab is palpable. The race to innovate and heal is on, an adventure that tests the limits of science, ethics, and maybe even our taste in dinner options. Whether we embrace organ donations or consider less conventional tactics, the future holds promise, a chance to redefine what it means to share life, not just survive it. In the quest for heart transplantation, xenotransplantation emerges as a captivating but wild idea. Picture a world where you no longer have to wait for a human heart to become available. Imagine a future where pig hearts are the go-to solution. It sounds like science fiction, but researchers are genuinely making strides. If they pull it off, we could wave goodbye to waiting lists and welcome an incredibly bountiful supply of life-saving organs. Experimental surgeries involving genetically modified pig hearts are shaking things up in the medical field. Surgeons have taken a leap into the unknown, implanting these pig hearts into human patients who had nowhere else to turn. The results, a real mixed bag. Some lucky individuals enjoyed weeks of vigorous heartbeats before complications took their toll. Others, well, let's just say they didn't make it as far. Each attempt is a step forward, providing insights worth their weight in gold. As surgeons dive deeper into the intricacies of these transplants, they are learning what truly makes the heart tick. Literally, questions abound, like what genetic tweaks work best, how does a patient's immune system react, and what support protocols can keep these hearts humming. Although we aren't quite at the point of routine heart swaps yet, each surgery is illuminating the path to potentially life-altering breakthroughs. There's hope for a future where pig hearts could bridge the gap to human transplants or even take center stage themselves. Meanwhile, the saga of artificial blood products is bubbling up. Blood transfusions are like magic potions that save millions. But donor blood has its quirks. It requires precise matching, careful storage, and a ticking clock before it turns into pumpkin juice. This poses a problem during emergencies or in areas with blood donation dry spells. Hence, researchers are concocting alternatives, crafting artificial blood that could revolutionize how we handle transfusions. Some of the most ambitious scientists are tinkering with modified hemoglobin, the superstar of oxygen transport, not to mention whipping up synthetic compounds that can seamlessly dissolve and carry gases. But the path isn't all smooth sailing. Safety is a major concern, and avoiding pesky side effects is vital. Plus, they have to ensure that this new-age blood efficiently gets oxygen to where it's needed, a grand challenge indeed. But the potential rewards are monumental. Imagine a world where artificial blood can sit on the shelf for ages, ready to spring into action at a moment's notice. Blood types could become a bygone detail, as these syntheses would work for everyone, everywhere. Although we haven't quite reached the moment of tossing out donated blood, the strides made thus far are nothing short of hopeful. Someday, hospitals might be stocked with synthetic lifesavers, waiting to swoop in during emergencies like superheroes. Let's not forget blood types were a breakthrough that changed the game entirely. They turned what was a guessing game of transfusion into a well-oiled machine. The discovery made it possible to save lives by ensuring the right blood got to the right person. Now, mix that with the promise of artificial blood and the feats of xenotransplantation, and you get an exhilarating glimpse into a future teeming with possibilities. And as we march into this brave new world of medical miracles, it's essential to keep our humor intact. After all, it's not every day that scientists are trying to turn pigs into heart donors and concocting blood in labs like a laboratory version of a chef special. As they navigate genomic maneuvers and synthetic red cell concoctions, we're in for a curious ride, hoping for more victories in the realm of human health. In the quirky world of early transfusions, doctors were more like puzzled magicians than medical professionals. Picture them scratching their heads as some patients bounced back like superheroes, while others met grim fates. Enter Karl Landsteiner in the early 20th century, the man behind the curtain who unveiled the secret world of blood types. He discovered that not all blood is created equal. Some came with tiny, sneaky markers that made all the difference. Imagine the sheer excitement and horror as they realized that mixing different blood types could cause epic drama in the body, like a soap opera gone wrong. But matching the right types, that was the golden ticket to health and happiness. With the introduction of the ABO system and the RH factor, medicine flipped on its head, making transfusions as predictable as a sitcom laugh track. Suddenly, surgeries were less like roulette. Childbirth complications now had a fighting chance, and trauma care became a robust lifeline. Now, blood types might seem like a flipbook of vivid colors, but back then, figuring out they weren't interchangeable was revolutionary. The newfound knowledge laid the foundation for modern transfusion science, an absolute game changer in saving lives. The medical world breathed a collective sigh of relief as they realized this revelation would rewrite their playbook. Suddenly, they had new tools at their disposal, and the stakes in the operating room felt less like a high-stakes gamble. Amidst all this blood type frenzy, one type shone brighter than the rest. O negative. Cue the drum roll. These universal donors are like the VIPs of the blood bank, red cells with no antigens that could trigger an immune response. In emergencies where time is a luxury, O negative blood swoops in like a superhero, ready to save the day without the fuss of matching types under pressure. Because let's be honest, when seconds matter, there's no time for a blood compatibility party. Blood banks around the globe treat these universal donors like rock stars, knowing their supplies can mean life or death for trauma victims, surgical patients, and fragile newborns. They might as well name a holiday after them. These unsung heroes might be few in number, but their impact ripples across communities, turning them into silent guardians waiting in the wings for that critical moment. But wait, there's more. Plasma, the liquid gold of the bloodstream, holds secrets that make it even more special than your average superhero. It's not just a transport truck for water and nutrients, but also a carrier of antibodies. Those tiny proteins that are ready to duel infections on behalf of the body. When plasma from someone who has fought off a disease is transferred to a still battling soldier, it's like lending a protective shield in the heat of battle, granting them temporary immunity. This brilliant plasma approach doesn't teach the recipient's body to defend itself. It simply drops off borrowed defenses, which is sort of like letting your friend borrow your magic cape during their dragon fighting quest. It's immediate, effective, and sometimes just what the doctor ordered when the chips are down. Who knew that a golden liquid could be a ticket to resilience in the midst of the medical fray? In conclusion, the evolution of blood transfusions, from baffling early trials to the life-saving science we depend on today, is a testament to human ingenuity. It's a dramatic tale of doctors, discoveries, and a dash of luck. So the next time you find yourself in a waiting room or a medical predicament, take a moment to appreciate the blood types, universal donors, and plasma warriors making magic happen right before our eyes. Every drop counts, especially when life's at stake. Plasma therapies have been unsung heroes throughout various outbreaks, showcasing the remarkable human capacity to overcome adversity. Each drop of this golden liquid carries a treasure trove of experiences and molecules shaped by past confrontations with illnesses. Like seasoned warriors, these antibodies are passed from one survivor to another, ready to lend a hand or a drop, in this case to those currently in the battle against disease. When pandemics strike, medical experts often resort to one of their oldest tricks, the blood of the survivors. In the grand saga of medicine, there's a curious twist. Remember the influenza pandemic of the early 20th century. Doctors were armed with conjured convalescent plasma, attempting, with hopeful hearts, to shield the stricken from harm. This time-honored practice has resurfaced like a stubborn bad penny during many later crises, including the harsh impacts of Ebola and COVID-19. The outcomes of these plasma therapies have varied as much as your favorite sitcom's plot twists. Sometimes, they've delivered life-saving benefits, while other times, well, let's say the results fell short of the grand finale expectations. Still, the foundation of this practice remains profoundly powerful. In the fog of a pandemic's dawn, when the cavalry of vaccines and targeted therapies hasn't yet arrived, this shared immunity acts like a friendly neighborhood superhero coming to the rescue. As we fast forward through the pages of medical history, it's shocking to remember how surgeries were once done without a hint of hand-washing. Picture this, the 19th century, where surgeons strolled into operating theatres wearing the same coats they wore to picnics, and their tools were more likely to be grimy than sterile. Talk about a recipe for disaster. They hopped from patient to patient like it was an old school dance, unknowingly ferrying invisible bacteria along for the ride. In those turbulent times, infections ran rampant. Many patients left the operating table not just to recover, but to battle fevers that often claimed their lives. It seems madness now, as those doctors grappled with the notion that they could be the agents of suffering. Imagine hospitals transforming into scenes from a horror flick, where the outcome of surgery hinged more on sheer luck than any semblance of skill or knowledge. Reflecting on these historical missteps helps us appreciate the incredible progress that medicine has made, sprinting from the shadows of ignorance to the glaring light of modern sterility practices. The leap from cluelessness regarding microbes to the meticulous standards we observe today is nothing short of extraordinary. It's like watching a snail turn into a race car on the information superhighway of medicine. Among the early advocates for sanitary practices was the visionary Simmel, who sung the praises of hand-washing before germ theory even hit the mainstream. His calls for cleanliness were like raindrops on a parched summer day, refreshing and desperately needed, but it took a while for the medical community to truly take note. Thanks to the persistent push of those visionaries, however, the importance of hygiene became a cornerstone of surgical success, ultimately saving countless lives. Today, we can laugh at the outlandish practices of yesteryears while celebrating the advancements we've achieved. With plasma therapies, rigorous hygiene, and a growing understanding of our microscopic foes, the future looks bright. It's a tale that highlights the resilience of humanity and the ever-evolving saga of medicine, with each chapter teaching us valuable lessons for the battles ahead. Ignaz Semmelweis, a Hungarian physician from the mid-19th century, stumbled upon a disturbing trend. He had observed that women delivering in hospitals attended by doctors were more likely to contract the deadly childbed fever compared to those assisted by midwives. This anomaly sent his detective instincts tingling, and before long, he made a startling discovery. Doctors often sauntered straight from performing autopsies to deliver babies, all without so much as a quick hand rinse. Determined to turn the tide, Semmelweis implemented a strict hand-washing policy using a chlorine solution before any contact with patients. The results were nothing short of miraculous. Mortality rates took a nosedive, and the once fatal childbed fever started losing its grip on new mothers. However, not everyone was thrilled about this radical change. Many scoffed at his findings, for they clashed with the widely held beliefs of the era. Semmelweis didn't have the germ theory to back him up. That revelation was still lurking in the shadows. His insistence on cleanliness was ahead of its time, and, despite the fantastic outcome, many dismissed him with a wave of the hand. Consequently, Semmelweis faced a series of rejections, leaving him somewhat despondent. His struggles and tragic personal life were unfortunate, yet his legacy as a hygiene pioneer truly lives on. Those scrubs and sanitizers we see in hospitals today, they're a nod to the wisdom of a man who was willing to fight for something that seemed, at the time, almost ridiculous. Enter Louis Pasteur, the science whiz of the 19th century, who kicked the old believed notions that diseases arose from bad air or ominous vapors to the curb. Through carefully conducted experiments, he boldly demonstrated that tiny microorganisms were indeed the culprits behind diseases and decay. His work solidified that boiling food and sterilizing instruments could obliterate spoilage and contamination. It was a game changer for health science. Pasteur didn't just stop at theory. He got his hands dirty in the field of vaccines too. His development of vaccines for rabies and anthrax was a major breakthrough, proving that microbes weren't just little monsters to fear, they could actually be tamed. He redefined hospitals, transforming them from places of dread where people went to meet their doom, into lively centers of healing and recovery. The ripples of his discoveries can still be felt in every disinfectant bottle and surgical tool used today. Take a bow, Joseph Lister. He wasn't shy about leveraging Pasteur's groundbreaking microbial discoveries. He simply asked, what if surgery could actually be safe if we killed germs before they could take a toll on patients? As the mid-19th century rolled in, Lister put the pedal to the metal, employing carbolic acid to sterilize instruments and clean wounds. His unorthodox methods raised eyebrows but quickly led to outstanding results. Patients who previously faced the Grim Reaper due to infections started walking out of the operating room. Lister's innovations sparked a monumental shift in how surgeries were performed. Mortality rates plummeted, and suddenly, surgery, once a gamble where the odds were heavily stacked against patients, became a much safer bet, thanks to his relentless pursuit of cleanliness and germ-free practices in the operating room. With Lister leading the charge into antiseptic surgery, the tide against infection turned, proving that when a few cunning minds collaborated, they could collectively leap into modern medicine. They paved the way for a cleaner, healthier future in healthcare, one where the tiniest warriors of the microbial world were no longer just feared foes, but conquerable entities that were integral to our understanding of health. Initially, the idea of tiny, invisible germs lurking about was met with skepticism by many in the medical community. Colleagues rolled their eyes and smirked at the thought of supernatural little critters causing infections. However, Joseph Lister's unwavering determination soon turned those chuckles into nods of approval. His astounding results sprouted what we now call aseptic technique. Think gloves, gowns, and sterilized instruments. Today's surgeries, from appendectomies to heart surgeries, carry his clean-cut legacy like a badge of honor. Enter Florence Nightingale, the Wonder Woman of nursing, who swept into the Crimean War with a mop and a whole lot of heart. The military hospitals were a grim sight, with soldiers crammed into unsanitary wards, where germs seemed to stage their own invasion. But with her insistence on cleanliness, fresh bedding, and proper meals, she turned the tide. Mortality rates took a nosedive. Nightingale didn't just save lives. She transformed nursing into a respected profession, intertwining compassion with a healthy dose of science. Not stopping there, Florence brought her love of data to the table, crafting stunning charts that laid bare the shocking causes of death. It was like medical art, showing the world that many fatalities could be avoided with basic hygiene. Nightingale's impact rippled beyond the hospitals. She fundamentally reshaped healthcare itself, morphing grim settings into havens of healing, and raising nursing to a noble vocation where empathy and expertise walked hand in hand. Then comes the Red Cross, like a superhero in a cape made of compassion. Founded by Henry Dunant after witnessing the chaos of war, it sprang into action to aid the injured no matter which side they were on. What started as a heartfelt initiative quickly snowballed into a global medical juggernaut. With its iconic red cross on a white background, the organization became synonymous with protection and a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. And it didn't stop at battlefield care. The Red Cross expanded its reach to offer disaster relief, blood services, and educational efforts worldwide. They set a new bar for humanitarian work with principles of neutrality and impartiality that earned them respect and trust across the globe. Wherever there's a crisis, a flood, an earthquake, or conflict, you can bet the Red Cross is somewhere near, showing up to offer help instead of political debates. But let's be real, war might sound like a terrible backdrop, yet it has unwittingly nudged medical advancements into high gear. Doctors and medical researchers alike have been propelled into developing groundbreaking treatments and technologies amidst the chaos of conflict. Every bandage and surgical technique improved during these trying times is a testament to the relentless human spirit trying to make sense of tragedy through innovation. As a result, every wartime physician armed with newfound knowledge became an agent of change, pushing the envelope of what was thought possible. The relentless urge to save lives amidst chaos sparked advancements that would later benefit civilian healthcare. In this twisted narrative, war turned out to be an unlikely catalyst for medical progress, ensuring that at least some good could come from destruction. In the end, from Lister's antiseptic methods to Nightingale's nursing revolution and the Red Cross's humanitarian missions, these trailblazers fashioned a world where healing takes precedence over despair. The fabric of modern medicine is woven together by these pioneers, reflecting a rich tapestry of compassion, innovation, and unyielding hope. Their legacies resonate through the hallowed halls of hospitals today, inspiring caregivers everywhere to march forward with purpose and heart. On battlefields, the quest to treat wounds and save lives has sparked incredible innovation. When bullets fly and chaos reigns, the urgency to stop bleeding, amputate gangrenous limbs, and whisk away the wounded drives medics to think on their feet. The American Civil War, in particular, saw the birth of organized ambulance services. No longer were patients carted off in carts like sacks of potatoes. a war zone became a classroom. Refining medical practices under fire. World War I fast-tracked the medical community's go-to toolkit by introducing blood transfusions and a fancy new concept called triage. Picture this: medics shuffling through the battlefield, prioritizing the most critical injuries. Like some overzealous game show host, wartime conditions brought about massive improvements. As survival rates soared with swift care, they were like Bob the Builder, but instead of fixing homes, they stitched up soldiers and patched up heroes. By World War II, the medical marvel known as penicillin burst onto the scene, turning potentially fatal infections into minor inconveniences. Forget about a scratch ruining your day now, it was just a little band-aid work. This revolutionary antibiotic transformed battlefield medicine, allowing injured troops to bounce back for another round. The lessons learned from treating wounds in these tumultuous eras became the foundation for our modern emergency medicine. Talking about prosthetics, the genesis of these life-changing devices can largely be traced back to the wars that demanded urgent and innovative solutions. The history of artificial limbs stretches long, but it was the sheer volume of injured soldiers post-World War I that propelled development forward. Suddenly, simple wooden limbs morphed into jointed marvels, granting soldiers more mobility than ever. By World War II, metals lighter than your average lunchtime sandwich became the norm in prosthetic design. Fast forward to the present, and you've got advanced prosthetics responding to muscle, nerves, and even your thoughts. It's beyond sci-fi. It's a reality where amputees can now feel pressure or texture. What started as a basic wooden limb crafted from a tree has evolved into sophisticated equipment capable of restoring one's independence and dignity. Sure, it all stems from the grim lessons of battle, but today, freedom of movement is the ultimate victory. And while we're on the topic of victories, let's chat about vaccinations. Cue the triumphant music. Smallpox, once considered humanity's most notorious villain, took millions of lives before it met its match. After centuries of wreaking havoc and leaving scars literally and metaphorically, the birth of the smallpox vaccine in the 18th century offered glimmers of hope. But it was a united front in the 20th century that really dealt the death blow to this vicious adversary. In an epic global team effort, vaccination campaigns reached even the tiniest villages, poking entire populations to shield them from outbreaks. Imagine the scene: health workers out there like superheroes, capes presumably tucked away, saving lives one jab at a time. Through determination and worldwide cooperation, smallpox went from a plague of epic proportions to a chapter in medical history, cementing the importance of vaccinations forever. So, whether it's battlefields giving rise to medical breakthroughs or vaccines rallying against disease, conflict has managed to leave behind a legacy of innovations that have fundamentally shaped the way we respond to crises today. Remarkably, the harshest realities often inspire the most significant advancements in health, from emergency surgeries to prosthetic limbs. Today's technologies carry the torch lit during mankind's darkest times, illuminating the path toward a healthier, brighter future. In 1980, the World Health Organization declared smallpox officially eradicated, marking a dazzling first in human history. Thanks to a blend of scientific innovation, logistical wizardry, and sheer human grit, we bid farewell to a disease that once spread fever and left scars in its wake. Now, smallpox serves as a shining example that when we coordinate our vaccination efforts, we can conquer even the most daunting health challenges, setting a blueprint for future campaigns against ferocious diseases. Polio, that sinister spectre of the 20th century, haunted the dreams of parents everywhere. Just a swift, stealthy virus could immobilize kids in an instant, leading to wheelchairs or iron lungs as their new normal. But just when it seemed panic would reign forever, along came Jonas Salk and later, Albert Sabin, armed with a polio vaccine, with mass vaccination campaigns rolling out. Entire nations emerged from the shadows of fear and proudly declared themselves polio-free. Despite the decline, some regions still bear the burden of polio, held hostage by war, distrust, and inadequate healthcare. The road from hundreds of thousands of cases to just a few dozen worldwide showcases the power of global teamwork and science. This success story is a clarion call to finish the job, ensuring that no child anywhere ever faces the chilling solitude of a polio diagnosis again. But hold your applause, malaria is still in the game and putting up a tough fight. Each year, this age-old adversary takes the lives of hundreds of thousands, preying primarily on children in sub-Saharan Africa. The crafty parasite hitching a ride with mosquitoes proves hard to shake off. Despite our best efforts over centuries, we've got treatments and nifty prevention methods like insecticide-treated nets and indoor spraying. Yet the bug powers on, evolving and resisting our interventions. Like a villain in an action movie. Recently, the glimmer of hope arrived with new vaccines that have emerged as long-awaited weapons in the battle against malaria. Yet, the tenacity of this ancient foe serves as a palpable reminder that medical victories are never quite sealed with a bow. Every twist and turn has ignited a wave of innovations, leading to better diagnostics and community health programs, with each small step saving countless lives over time. Malaria has proven to be a humbling nemesis, an ancient entity that morphs and adapts, always demanding relentless effort to keep it at bay. It's a challenge that encourages us to stay sharp and creative, never letting our guard down against its advances. But hope sticks around, as the history of eradicating diseases shows us just how potent persistence can be. Among our arsenal against malaria, one of the simplest yet most powerful solutions has been the trusty bed net. Insecticide-treated bed nets have become heroes in the malaria story, saving millions from the ominous bite of mosquitoes. Who knew that a stretch of fabric could stand as a formidable fortress against a tenacious disease? It's a classic case of keep it simple winning the day, showcasing that sometimes the most effective strategies are the ones that look deceptively easy. So as we celebrate our victories, let's not forget the continuing battles. The fight against these diseases teaches us resilience, reminding us that while we've achieved miracles, our work isn't done yet. Each success story brightens the path forward, inspiring determination in the face of a future where no child has to fear disease's cruel grip ever again. At night, when the buzzing brigade of mosquitoes comes out to party, bed nets save the day, or rather, the night. These nets act like magic shields, combining physical barriers and chemical defenses to help keep those pesky pests at bay. Whole villages that embrace the net life have seen their infection rates drop faster than a mosquito in the headlights. WHO estimates that millions of lives, particularly those precious little ones, have been saved thanks to these simple, low-cost wonders. While bed nets are easy to use and tremendously effective, they do come with their own set of challenges. Like all great stuff, they wear out over time, and just when you think you've got the upper hand, mosquitoes evolve and develop a mysterious resistance. Plus, not everyone has access to these life-saving nets, because let's be real, in some places, you might as well be searching for unicorns. Still, the bright side shines. The impact of widespread net distribution proves that inexpensive, community-backed interventions work miracles. Shifting gears to perhaps one of the Earth's most underrated resources, soil. Yes, that squishy stuff you step in while gardening or hiking is where the roots of antibiotics dwell. Our lives were forever changed when doctors discovered that antibiotics could come from the mundane dirt beneath our feet. It's not just any dirt, it's a treasure trove, with compounds from soil microbes like streptomyces ready to battle bacterial rivals. This miniature arms race gave birth to antibiotics like streptomycin and tetracycline, transforming medicine and saving countless lives. Thanks to these unsung heroes from the soil, diseases that once had the power to wipe out populations like pneumonia and tuberculosis are now treatable. Just think about it. The humble soil, previously overlooked, is practically a gold mine of medical miracles waiting to be unearthed. Even now, researchers are on a quest, digging into all corners of the earth from deserts to hidden caves, hunting for the next big breakthrough in antibiotics to tackle stubborn bacteria that refuse to budge. Now, let's take a deep dive literally into the ocean, where its depths hold an entirely different realm of medicinal wonders. In the cool, crushing darkness of the deep sea, life has evolved in fascinating ways. Sponges, corals, and various microorganisms create complex compounds to fend off predators or stave off infections. Scientists, with their scuba gear and curiosity, have been exploring these extreme environments, revealing molecules that could potentially treat everything from cancer to chronic pain. Getting these compounds out of the deep blue is like trying to retrieve an ancient treasure, challenging, yet rewarding. Life in the ocean thrives under unique conditions. crafting chemicals no one could have imagined on dry land. Researchers are determined to collect and study these strange creations because the next medical breakthrough could be lurking beneath the waves. Every expedition is not just a splashy adventure, but a deliberate search for nature's pharmacy waiting in the shadows. Meanwhile, let's not forget our green friends, the plants. These leafy wonders are nature's very own laboratories, providing thousands of medicinal compounds. From the exotic looks of the rainforest to your backyard garden, plants have developed a plethora of biochemicals that can heal or protect. They have been humans' allies for centuries, from teas and tinctures to entire protocols in modern medicine. Nature's bounty really is a cornucopia of healing. And who knew that a little greenery could pack such a powerful punch? In our ongoing exploration, we find that whether in soil or the depths of the ocean, or even among the plants we brush by every day, there are irreplaceable gems waiting to change lives. So, whether you're snuggled under a bed net or trekking through rugged terrain, remember, the world is full of secrets, and just one small discovery can lead to the next great leap in medicine. Hold onto your hats and grab your nets. The adventure of unlocking nature's treasures is just getting started. For ages, humans have relied on plants for healing, diving into nature's treasure troves to discover potent remedies. The bark, roots, leaves, and flowers of various species are packed with chemicals that interact wonderfully with our bodies. Modern science rolled up its sleeves and confirmed what traditional healers always knew. These compounds can wield some serious power. Quinine from the cinchona bark nips malaria in the bud, while paclitaxel from the Pacific yew throws a 1-2 punch against cancer. Even caffeine and morphine came knocking at our doors straight from the plant kingdom. Laboratories nowadays may synthesize medications, but the inspiration often harks back to nature's bounty. Botanists, chemists, and doctors are playing a never-ending game of hide-and-seek with plants in rainforests, mountains, and meadows. The story is that each leaf and flower holds secrets crafted over millions of years of evolution, just waiting for eager minds to uncover them. Take aspirin as a classic case. It sprouted from willow bark many moons ago. Back in the day, folks would chew on that bark to curb pain and erase fevers, completely unaware of salicin, the superstar active ingredient hidden within. When the 19th century rolled in, chemists polished it up into acetylsalicylic acid, a name that rolls off the tongue as easily as the benefits roll into our lives. This humble remedy has become a heavyweight champion in the medicine world, adored for chasing away headaches, soothing inflammation, and even playing healer for our hearts. Fast forward to the present, and many people have aspirin cooling in their medicine cabinets, regularly popping it to fend off strokes and heart attacks. What started as a grassroots folk remedy morphed into a global phenomenon, charming its way into the realms of traditional healing and highbrow science. The saga of aspirin illustrates how many modern drugs owe their existence to nature's quiet wisdom, just waiting for scientists to give it a much-deserved spotlight. Then there's digitalis, the shining gem that came from the enchanting foxglove plant. Back in the 18th century, the brilliant physician William Withering dived into the purple-hued beauty, using it to tackle dropsy, now known as heart failure. This flower wasn't just a pretty face. Withering discovered that its compounds could rev up heart contractions and alleviate pesky fluid buildup. Talk about multitasking. Carefully measured doses meant longer, more comfortable lives for patients. However, like the dual-edged sword of legends, the path was fraught with peril. The difference between a life-saving remedy and a fatal toxin was as thin as a hair strand. Withering had to tread that fine line with caution, like a tightrope walker in a circus act. Didn't he know that occasionally, things can get a tad messy in the world of medicine and plants? The potent effects of digitalis might save the day. But all bets were off with the lingering danger of an overdose. So here we are, standing at the intersection of nature and science, marveling at what plants have to offer us. Those vibrant leaves and blossoms serve as more than just eye candy. They hold the keys to health and healing, wrapped up in a foil of mystery and discovery. As we brave explorers of this enchanting realm, we can only imagine the astonishing breakthroughs that await us in the wild nooks of our world's botanical gardens. Nature is like one of those magic cupboards that never runs out of surprises, and rumor has it, we've only cracked the tiniest bit of the door open. In the world of cardiology, digitalis derivatives still play a vital role, only now they're wielded with the precision of a surgeon's scalpel. jump back in time, and you'd find quirky folk remedies slowly giving way to serious scientific observations. The foxglove, enchanting yet lethal, wasn't just a pretty flower. It symbolized a pivotal moment where nature's secrets morphed into a standardized heart treatment. Who knew that a plant could wield this much power over our hearts for centuries? Then there's morphine, the enigmatic buddy derived from the poppy, dancing a fine line between relief and risky business. This little miracle worker has been around since ancient times, standing tall as humanity's go-to for pain relief. When chemists tootled through the early 19th century and isolated morphine from that milky sap, they hit the jackpot. Suddenly, they had a potent remedy on their hands so magical. It was dubbed the soldier's drug during wartime. Wounded warriors thanked their lucky stars for it. But little did they know, morphine had a shadowy side of dependence lurking around too. Oh, the dual nature of the poppy. Just as it offers heavenly respite from suffering, it also comes with a warning label about addiction. The ups and downs of morphine still echo in today's conversations about opioid treatments. Despite its potential for misuse, however, it stands tall, a stalwart answer to severe pain for those facing the harshest medical battles, like a double-edged sword. The poppy teaches us that healing can sometimes walk hand in hand with harm. Fast forward to the 21st century, where medical marvels can come with a staggering price tag that could make your wallet gasp. We're talking about gene therapies so advanced they could rival a sci-fi movie. Yet each dose can sell for millions of dollars. Imagine being told that your child has a life-threatening genetic condition, then hearing about a therapy so expensive it sounds like a plot twist. These treatments are engineered to tackle rare, ruthless disorders, making them both miraculous and economically terrifying. The eye-watering costs stem from years, sometimes decades of research. Complicated production methods breathe life into these therapies, while the rarity of the conditions they treat further inflates the price. Families in desperate need often face an unthinkable dilemma, sacrificing everything for a chance at life or watching their dreams fade into the horizon. It's a roller coaster of emotions that sparks intense debates about fairness versus innovation in healthcare. As each day unfolds, discussions buzz about how to maintain a balance between the cutting-edge breakthroughs that transform medicine and making sure everyone can access them. After all, we all know medicine is invaluable to those it saves. Yet the astronomical costs of some cures make it seem as if we're living in a dystopian novel where only the privileged can afford miracles. The saga continues, and the very essence of medicine could tilt toward the personalized realm. Who knows, soon, we may all have specialized medicine tailored just for us, like a cozy sweater designed with our unique needs in mind. Will our pharmaceutical future be a lavish buffet of options, or will we still find ourselves squabbling over the last slice? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the world of medicine remains an unpredictable, thrilling story that keeps us all on our toes. As we peer into the crystal ball of medicine's future, it's clear that we're barreling toward a world where treatments are as unique as fingerprints. Thanks to the dazzling strides in genetics, AI, and biotechnology, our healthcare wizards, aka doctors, can now analyze a person's DNA, lifestyle choices, and even their napkin folding skills. Okay, maybe not that last one to whip up therapies tailor-made for each individual. Imagine ditching the one-size-fits-all prescriptions for potions, created just for you. In this reshaped medical landscape, cancer isn't a mysterious beast lurking in the shadows any longer. It's being mapped and hunted down with extreme accuracy. Chronic diseases, they'll be managed according to the molecular fingerprints of the individual, turning therapies into custom-tailored suits rather than off-the-rack attire. The whole game changes when prevention joins the party, allowing us to nip issues in the bud before they mushroom into chronic conditions or pesky ailments. But wait, this isn't just a tech fairy tale. Glimpses of this personalized utopia are already popping up across the globe. Imagine receiving a pill with your name on it, or a treatment plan that feels like a VIP backstage pass just for you. The ultimate goal here is making healthcare not just more effective, but also safer and gentler on the old human body. It represents a remarkable leap from the ancient potions of yesteryears to therapies as unique as a humorously tangled Christmas light set. The journey through medicine's evolution has been nothing short of eye-opening. We can trace it back from those first brave souls who wielded herbs and whispered incantations to today's incredible gene-editing pioneers. At its core, This narrative revolves around one heartwarming theme: the relentless hope of alleviating suffering. We've seen it all: triumphs and failures, experiments that flopped and some that skyrocketed us into new realms of healing. Preserving the age-old question, how can we help? Cruise along the timeline of human efforts to heal, and the images are vivid. Picture a wise, ancient healer diligently grinding leaves in a misty forest, hoping to concoct something life-saving. Now, contrast that with a modern-day researcher peering intently into the double helix spirals of DNA, possibly battling caffeine withdrawal. These scenes reflect our instincts echoing through ages, asking how we can bestow another day, another breath, or even just a smidge more joy. Of course, it hasn't been all smooth sailing. The path of medicine is littered with stumbles and learning experiences. There have been missteps, moments of sheer ignorance, and some situations that turned a tad messy. Hello, leeches. Yet, what's truly remarkable is how the field always progresses, fueled by an unwavering belief that tomorrow holds more promise and potential than today. This dedication is what makes medicine profoundly human, a delightful blend of knowledge, compassion, and pure grit in the face of adversity. It's a testament to our collective willingness to tackle illness head-on, even during those moments when the answers seem elusive, like trying to find Waldo in a sea of stripes. So, as you ease into the embrace of slumber, let your mind wander through the tapestry of medicine's story, each thread woven with the aspirations of healers past and present, deeply infused with the essential human spirit, aiming always for a brighter, healthier tomorrow. Who knows where this adventure will take us next? The future of medicine is brimming with possibilities, just waiting for the next bright idea. As the night wraps around you like a cozy blanket, take a moment to let those tales of wonder and discovery tickle your imagination. These stories, woven with threads of science and panache, remind us of the persistent band of healers throughout history, each a shining beacon of hope amidst the chaotic noise of the world. You don't need to fixate on every name or detail, just let the overall feeling wash over you. Imagine all over the globe, there are earnest souls toiling away, each one determined to make the world a bit brighter. From the quirky genius inventors to the compassionate doctors, their shared mission is to bring more warmth, kindness, and life into our existence. Whenever life feels heavy, think of them as gentle companions, tranquil as a lullaby humming in the background of your daydreams. And hey, if these delightful explorations have added a splash of tranquility to your evening routine or eased you into a snug bedtime, we invite you to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Each click not only lights up our day but helps like-minded dreamers find us. It's like forming a cozy little community, one sleepy soul at a time, all ready to dive into the wonders of discovery together. Are you feeling generous? Drop a comment below. Your words can be like a breadcrumb trail leading others to this peaceful corner of the internet. There's something special about sharing your thoughts. It's akin to whispering secrets in a friend's ear and inviting them to join the cozy circle. Sharing is caring, and we love to hear from you. But for now, let the night cradle you in soft silence. While you let go of the day's worries, breathe in deeply, filling your lungs with cool, fresh air, and then exhale slowly, releasing all that stress. Think of each breath as a wave washing over you, easing you further into your cozy retreat. It's so simple, yet incredibly powerful. Envision your thoughts as fluffy clouds drifting lazily across an endless blue sky. No rushing, no fuss, just the gentle rhythm of your breath guiding you to your own serene space. There's something magical in how thoughts can ebb and flow, morphing into dreamlike visions as you slip closer to slumber, guided by the gentle embrace of rest. As the world outside gently hums into silence, sleep will come to you, unhurried and soft. It will wrap around you tenderly, much like the act of healing itself. Every moment spent unwinding is a step closer to restoration, a reminder that you can shed the day's weight and invite in the soothing balm of nighttime. So, let go of all the busyness, kick off your shoes, settle into your cozy spot, and allow a world of dreams to drift in. Trust that sleep has its own rhythm and will carry you away when the time is just right. For now, simply be enveloped in the wonder of the night, ready for the adventure that the future holds. Good night.